You and me, hoss. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Sentry, go, damn it, cut the move that gear. This thing ain't on autopilot, damn it, cut the move that gear. Hold it down, don't touch that sentry, damn it, cut the move that gear. That's why I ain't on our gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move that gear. Get down, damn it, cut the move. Go, damn it, cut the move that gear.
It's a classic. Yes, it is. It's a classic. 14 years ago, this was uploaded to YouTube. 14 years. Oh my god. Think about that for a minute. Half the people watching right now weren't even born yet. Actually, it was actually more than 14 years ago. It was in 2010. 2010, this was uploaded to YouTube. Holy god. Oh, Jesus. Damn, I was 5 back then. Dude, I was in college. I was almost in college. How do you think I felt? How do you think I feel about this shit? Oh my god. I was in high school when this came out. Ay, ay, ay. Dude, I was 1 year old back in 2010. Oh. This game's old. I'm getting old. Just how it is. Put on some other music. We get started here. Music that won't get my shit nuked from orbit because of copyright. Bring that down a little bit. There we go. Now we get into a more relaxed vibe, as the kids say. Also, hello everybody. How we doing? I apologize for not announcing this one in advance, like giving a date and time. It just slipped my mind and I didn't do it. And I realized like, oh shit, the last one I did was a week ago, so I probably gotta do the next one. And I had time this afternoon, so sorry. No announcement of a date and time. So thankfully the VOD will be uploaded later for everyone to see. So even if you're not here for the stream, you can watch it later, which is great. It's a power of technology. You don't have to be here all the time. You just go back and watch it again later. What's been going on for me this past week? To be honest, jack shit. Not much. I've been a bit of a zombie the past week, kind of just playing Serious Sam 3, and that's about it. Nothing else of any significance has been going on. Playing Serious Sam 3 and playing a little bit of TF2 because like I just haven't been playing games for months because I was working on my last video, and now I'm like just in my spare time like, hey, I can play games again. So I was playing games, and that's about it. Truth be told. So, but I don't worry. I am working on. I have videos planned, and I'm writing them now. So they'll start coming out soon. Definitely, another good main channel video is going to be out probably during March, if not early April. It's a way shorter video than my previous one, so it's not going to take nearly as long to finish. Nor is it going to be nearly as involved as the last one. So there's that too. And I have a commentary coming out on the second channel this week. I'm going to have it done by the end of the week, if not sooner. So look forward to that. Nothing special, just kind of recapping all of the interesting developments that have happened since my video came out. And I was like, do I put this on the main channel? It's like, probably not, because there's a certain level of quality that people expect on my main channel now, so I can't really just throw a lazily edited... I can't throw a lazily edited commentary on there. It's just gonna be me talking over gameplay, which is the quintessential bread and butter of every YouTube video, or every YouTuber that just wants to talk and not do much. So you'll have to bear with me. It is indeed what the second channel is for. It is. It's a gaming commentary. Like the good old days. Just make a podcast. I can't do a podcast, man. I certainly couldn't do it by myself, and I probably would not have the discipline to consistently go out of the way to have guests or find shit to talk about each week. I kind of rely on Lucid to do that now. Like, Lucid's way more capable of hosting something that resembles a podcast, and I just join him on his because it's fun. If I managed my own, it would immediately go to shit. I don't like the idea. Plus, I'm not that interesting on my own. I need other people in the room to bounce off of, otherwise I'm boring as fuck. I love podcasts. I like podcasts whenever I'm going on, like, let's say a very long drive, like a long drive, or say or if I'm on a flight or something like that. But you got to kill a lot of time. Podcasts are good. I don't listen to many of them. Few off the top of my head that I can think of that I normally go back to is, like, you know, basic bitch shit like Joe Rogan. I listen to a lot. And also Mike Rowe's podcast. I really enjoy his podcast a lot. Really just those. Just those two more often than not. I'm afraid your TF2 opinions have been eternally invalidated the moment you liked the worst Serious Sam game. What do you mean? I just have fun. I'm having fun with the game. People say, okay, I get mixed reviews of this. Some people say Serious Sam 3 is the worst. Some people say it's the best. Which is it? Not that I care. I'm having fun with the game anyway. Thing is, you say it's objectively bad, but I'm having a lot of fun. I'm gonna go play the first two, don't worry. I'll play the first two, but my first exposure is Serious Sam 3, and I'm having a great time. It's really fun. When does the list start? Whenever I say it does. This is how all my streams start. We chill for a bit and then we dive in. This is how things go, alright? Isn't it obvious? Fortnite's better. No, I'm not gonna touch Fortnite. I don't like Fortnite. Fortnite sucks. I'm never gonna play that fucking abysmal game. It's a blight on the gaming industry as a whole. Since its inception as an online toy store. Happy Texas Independence Day. Have you ever been to NG's hometown of Bee Cave, Texas? I have. It's not too far from Austin, Texas. About a half-hour drive. Not much going on. Not a lot going on in Bee Cave, Texas. You got a strip center and a park. That's about it. Bee Cave, not a lot going on. Not much to look at either. What goes on in Austin? Crime. Homeless people shitting on the street. The occasional homeless encampment igniting underneath the highway. What else? Basically every notable shop and restaurant closing down after the year 2020 because the city has become a shithole. It's a miserable place to live. You just don't like Austin has gone downhill a lot over the past decade, but it really accelerated over the past 3 to 4 years. And I lived there for almost 4 years, but I had to leave. It was awful. I couldn't do it. We know Texas has a minor percentage of goth Latinas. It does. They're here. You have to find them. No, I'm gonna go in chronological order for the rest of the tier lists, going from oldest to newest. That's how it's gonna go. What would be the best place to live in Texas? It's very subjective. It's what do you want? You know, what do you want out of a living place? I like my hometown, San Antonio. It's a big city, but it's like the biggest little town you'll ever live in. It's a really big city, but it still has like the small town feel to it, minus the traffic. Of course, the traffic is unbearable at times. So just don't take I-35. Avoid I-35 like the plague, and you're fine. This is, population of almost like 1.5 million people live here, or 2 million people, something like that. You want goth Latinas? Then you know. You want goth Latinas, you gotta go to South Texas. That's where you have to go. You gotta go to South Texas for your goth Latinas. That's where they mostly reside. Is that neck of the woods. The bottom tier image should be the Train of Thought. The Train of Thought is gonna get a tier all on its own. It gets its own little special place in hell. Funnily enough, there are worse cosmetics than that one. Maybe 1 or 2. We'll get to that when we get to it. Trencher hat S tier. You know what? The Trencher's topper is not a bad hat. I do like that one. As a 6'7" Catholic blonde weeb, you should really easily pull a Hello Kitty goth Latina. So like that's the problem. Is like weeb dudes attract nobody, right? Like we're fucked. You have to. This needs to go away if I'm ever going to attract a member of the opposite sex, right? This just cannot exist. This has to go into a pile of wood and timber, and it has to be burned and the ashes salted, right? Salted. Get rid of the demons. Get rid of the demons. They have to go, right? But like the cute woo Hello Kitty girl can pull any man. That's just how it goes. Like the inverse does not work for men. Just how it goes. It is sad, but it is true. Is it true that Texas women are thick in all the right places? It depends. Depends on what you mean by thick. we got some thick women. We got some thick women here, but there's also some very fat. I couldn't find a kinder word. I couldn't find a kinder word to say. So, yeah. Indeed. Just be confident, statues are nothing but that. Sir Pello, I wish that was true. I really wish that. I really wish that was true. It's just, I really wish it was true. What is my background? This is the War Room map from TF2, from 2 Fort, except someone remade this and did it in really cool colors. So, yes. Okay, tier list. We're ready. We have the tier list ready to go. I have my folder of engineer hats ready to go. Here they all are, and then these need to be in proper sort by date, please. There we go. Nope, sort by reverse date. There we go. Now we're cooking. My room looks like a playground filled with plushies and toys. You're fine. There's a difference between... Okay, listen. Sir Pello, I love you, but, like, I have to... There is a very distinct difference between, say... What's like a toy that I have that's very innocuous, right? Like, there's a difference between... What can I use as an example here? What's like a prime example of, like, anti-female? What's like a good... Okay, here we go. So, okay. Here's an example of like a toy that one would find fairly innocuous, right? Like here's a Hot Wheel. Like no woman's gonna get upset by like an Alfa Romero, right? This is cool, right? No one's gonna be mad about this. But like this, for instance, you can't have this in a. You can't have this, man. You can't have. You know, you can't have USS Iowa just hanging all out there for everybody to see. That's just not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. Ah, there goes Mordred's sword. Motherfucker. I'll fix you later. It's just not gonna work. I mean, you can just see by how people are reacting in my chat. Like, everyone agrees. You couldn't see it. Could you show her chest again? Yep. Yep. That'll do it. What kind of amiibo is that? God. Oh, there goes my pencil. Just fell. Be over here so you don't make noise. Exactly. Height is not enough to negate being the creature that I am. You know, it's just it ain't gonna cut it. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about engineer hats. Women love Bionicles? Yes. Making bread, want a ping in a picture when done? Sure. The holy display case of my toys, yes sir indeed. Alright. Will I ever make a video on dissecting TF2's art style? It's not my place. Someone else has something cooking in the distant future, so it's not my place. Alright, we ready? Let's begin. We have the original. Probably, honestly, the mining light, right? Ooh. Try to put into a locked layer. There we go. Honestly, the mining light. The mining light is probably one of the most, if not the most, tasteful cosmetic in TF2. It's akin to the soldier stash, right? Where it just adds a little bit of extra detail onto the existing model. It doesn't replace anything, it doesn't take anything away or like really change his appearance. It's just a cosmetic that makes sense. It just makes sense, it's simple, and it's a classic. I mean, like, this is definitive top tier, right? It really is. It's definitive top tier, one of the best hats in the game, and just one of the best hats for engineer. If not the best hat for engineer. It's really, really good. And yeah, something that a lot of newer hats really lack is that these older ones are perfect by themselves. They don't need anything else to complement them, right? A lot of newer cosmetics look really bad on their own. Or not really bad, they look kind of odd on their own, I should say. But these classic hats are like, they were made for one cosmetic slot. Because back in the day, you only had one cosmetic slot. You didn't have 3. So. There you go. No, yeah, it's fitting, but not anything crazy, which is perfect. Like TF2 hats shouldn't be crazy. That's like a really big thing. It shouldn't be crazy. And on that note of not being too crazy, you have the engineer's cap. It's just like a train, it's a play on words, but also fits his characters like train engineer, having the engineer cap. It's another just really, really good hat. Funnily enough, this was one of my first ever hats that I ever got in TF2 as a drop. And I wonder if I still have it. I don't think I do. But I had this hat for years, and oh, it really is. It's one of my personal favorites. It's one of the best hats for Engie. This is like the definition of top of A tier. Top of A tier. Really good hat. I don't want to put it in S, but it's like quintessential top of A tier. Because like this does not compete with the Mining Light, in my opinion. Okay. Texas Slim Dome Shine. I've always been kind of iffy on just the bald head, like the one for Scout and Sniper and NG. I've always found these kind of strange. I like them, but they're a little weird. I think Engineers is the best, because Scout without his hat or Engineer without his hat is odd, but at least Engineer, sorry, Sniper without his hat or Scout without his hat looks odd, but Engineer, I think his goggles kind of carry this a lot. To where it's like, okay, this is still fine. I'm still not super crazy about it. I kind of want to put this in, like, middle of B tier. Yeah, middle of B tier. B for bald. Yeah, we'll do middle of B for bald. It's not C tier. It's a good hat, but it's not really good. It's just fine, right? It's just fine. Yeah, I think middle of B is probably the best place for it. I'm surprised no soldier hatless cosmetic exists. It's because his eyes look really fucking weird without a hat. I think that's like a main thing. So, on the same road of simplicity, we have the Texas 10 gallon. I mean, it's just a cowboy hat for the Texan. You cannot go wrong with a cowboy hat for the Texan. It fits, it looks good, classic, simple, beautiful hat. No, yeah, it's everyone's already saying S tier. Yeah, it's S tier. It's just, it's not as good as the Mining Light. We'll put the Mining Light at the top, and we'll put the Texas 10 gallon just underneath it. Like, they're very close, but the Mining Light's the best. But it is just one of the best hats in the game. 100%. It's just really good. Almost any unusual effect on the 10 gallon is expensive. Yeah, because it's a good hat. It's a really good hat. Okay, the Hot Rod. Personally, never been a fan of this one. Never been a fan of this one. I find it kind of odd that with the flames and the metal mask thing, for like the one where you can wear it down and it covers your face, for me, it's like this was a way more fitting hat for the pyro, right? Because, you know, welder's torch, flamethrower, fire, you have the hot rod flames on the mask. I feel like this was made for pyro, but then they gave it to the engineer. And so it doesn't really fit as well for engineer as it would on pyro if it just covered his whole face, you know? I think, sure, it works for both, but I really don't, I think it would have been way better on pyro. I kind of want to put this in C tier. I've never liked this hat, and I think it looks strange on the engineer, especially when it's flipped up. I'm putting it in high C tier. I've never been crazy about this one. Nah, even if the hat is iconic, I don't want to rate this one too high. It's not great. In a similar vein, we have the Safe and Sound. It's just, you know, sound canceling, you know, ear protection for engineer. Makes sense, you know, it's a play on construction. It's fine. So everyone kind of, there are a lot of cosmetics in engineer's closet that a lot of people forget exists. Well, first of all, not a lot of people play engineer. And second, he just has a lot of forgettable cosmetics because only a few rise to the top thanks to like Uncle Dane popularizing like the same 3. So you just never see any other ones. I don't know, I think these are kind of in the same range as C tier. Probably like next to the Hot Rod right here. They're just okay. Maybe I'll bump these both to the bottom of B tier. Because C tier I need to reserve for more like objectively mid to almost not good hat. We'll put these in both bottom of B, I think. But they're just okay. Works for... Yeah, I suppose the Safe and Sound does work for filler. It works for filler. The Buckaroo's hat. I think it's ugly. I don't like this one. I really don't. I've never liked it. I think it looks like shit. I don't like the brim. It's just a worse piece of Western wear all around. I kind of want to put this in D tier. Or like low C tier, like kind of around here. I'll put it in low C tier because I'm gonna reserve the lower tiers for like the really shit stuff. So we'll put you like low C tier. Okay, this next one we're gonna get some mixed reviews. We're gonna get some mixed reactions to the Industrial Festivizer. much like the, I forget the name of the Christmas ornaments that are the grenade replacements on Soldier and also for Pyro, there's a certain level of tastefulness and like reserved tastefulness that I think is acceptable for a game like TF2, where if it's just a little bit, you can get away with it to where it's not terrible, you know? And this is an example of that, where I think it's pretty okay. It's not quite the sign of the end-shitification of TF2, but if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna have festive crap slapped on the model, this one probably makes the cutest amount of sense and the most amount of sense. We're like, okay, Engineer, I suppose, would rig up some Christmas lights and wrap them around his hard hat and have like a little chuckle, right? But that's as far as it should go. It shouldn't go to putting toys on his head or having candy canes slapped all over his body. So I think when you're gonna have a festive item, this one's pretty okay. We'll put it middle of C tier. It's really not invasive either. It doesn't stick out that much. It's just okay. I give this one a perfect pass. If you're gonna have a festive item in the game, this one's fine. Thing is, we have other Christmas light cosmetics that look way worse. That are well beyond the point of end shitification for TF2. Like, we'll get to those later, and they're for Engineer, and they look pretty bad. The Big Country. Business in the front, party in the back. It's the fucking blonde mullet for the Engineer. I love this one so much. I'm put it low A tier. It's just a really fun, it's just a really good one. I love this hat so much. It's so good. Yeah, it's A tier. As far as, like, Engineer has a few really good hair cosmetics that fit his character really well. I like this one a lot. Yeah, the Big Country does go hard. It really does. I like this one a lot. I put that in the bottom of A. For sure. Indeed. Being Texan does come with its perks, and this is not one of them. Googly Gazer. Believe it or not, this is not a promotional item. This was an official, normal cosmetic. This was not a promotional item in any way. This is just the thing for Engineer. Gary's mod, yes, but that's like it. But it's not meant to be a promotional item for like something outside of Valve's IPs. So, and it's really ugly. It sucks. It's like, this is a very, this is a very early example of slop for TF2. E, middle of E tier, somewhere almost in territory, almost on grounds for deletion. I think it's just really fucking hideous and has no business being in the game. It's really bad. Okay, Professor's Peculiarity, another really good hairpiece for Engineer. I don't like the modeling on this one so much. So it's just okay. I'll put it in like, we'll say high C, low B. I think in this, no, I'll put it like high C tier. It's pretty good. It's okay. I just really don't like the modeling on this one. And there are other hair cosmetics for the Engineer that blow this one out of the water. So I'm going to keep it top of C tier. I don't like the glasses either. It looks, it looks flaccid is a good way to describe it. And also, like, the wisps on the hair kind of look like tinfoil. Not that good. Okay, Teddy Roosevelt. Just a teddy bear. It's just a teddy bear dressed up as the Engineer, and they put it in his pocket. Yeah, I love pocket cosmetics that are just a stuffed animal or an animal. It's bad. D, bottom of D, I kind of know E, top of E. I don't like any, like, there are so few pocket cosmetics that are tasteful and good. This one is not one of them. I don't think it's like, when I put something in D tier, okay, maybe so. Because when I put something in D tier, you can at least make an argument that, like, okay, you can at least give this one a pass for one reason or another. If something's in E tier, it's fucking ugly, probably shouldn't be in the game, almost grounds for deletion, and then anything below E tier should just be removed from the game altogether. So I'll put it in, I'll give it a pass tier. Something that does not get a pass is this, the Hetman's headpiece. This was a promo item for what fucking game? I don't remember what this was a promo item for, but this is for the engineer for some reason? Like, what? It doesn't fit his character at all. And it's so, okay, first of all, it's really, like, this is made for heavy, right? This is a Russian-styled hat, but for some reason, it's on engineer. So, why? Why didn't they give this one to heavy for a promo item? And it's just not that good. I don't remember what game it was from, or what it was for. But it just, yeah, it really does not fit engineer at all. I mean, I guess because it's still just not the worst looking hat, I'll put it at the bottom of D tier, but it's pretty bad. It's from Mount and Blade. I've never heard of that game. I've never seen it? That should be your appropriate reaction. I've never seen this fucking hat. It's just true. It's just true. Can you make an SDK mod that removes any cosmetic that does not belong in TF2? Thankfully, someone already did that with the no hats mod, or like no bad hats mod. I think that exists. And I think you can go through and mess with the files yourself and just remove the hats that you don't want to see. So we already have the power in the form of mods. So go for it. Yeah, no hats mod. I think these hats were worn by sappers in the Napoleonic Wars, which were basically the engineers of the day. If that's true, at least there's some interesting history behind it. But at face value, which is where most people are going to take this at, it doesn't look like something the engineer is going to wear. So, bad. Speaking of bad, Old Geezer. Just another pretty mediocre Western, like nothing can top the Texas 10 gallon. Nothing beats the Texas 10 gallon. It's not nearly as bad as the Buckaroo's cap, but I can't bring myself to put it in above C tier. It's gonna stay in C tier. And at like the low end of C tier as well. I really don't like this one. It's ugly. Doesn't match, it doesn't really match with too much. I can't put it above C tier. I really can't. Like, it's not even slot filler, because slot filler implies that it's something other than a hat. Like, a slot filler implies that it's something that goes with the hat. This is the hat. This is the hat. And it sucks. It's just ugly. It is just ugly. And then we have the Western wear. There's at least a little bit more... It's a bit more refined. The problem is that it's a little small. If the brim was wider, I would like this one a lot more. But this one's way more stylish. Yeah, it's rustic. Yes, good adjective. But, you know, it's more stylish, it's more polished, it's not so ugly. I'll put this one in probably high C tier. It's not great, but it's definitely way better than either of these options, that's for sure. It's just an okay hat. This one's also not very common. Like, I'm curious, like, what the price point is on unusual versions of these right now. Pardon me for a moment as I take a quick look at what people are paying for these days. I just want to see. The Western wear is fairly expensive, huh? What are people asking for these days? I ain't spending 75 keys on that shit. No, sir. Even if it is an old effect. No, the hat's not that good. Goddamn. It would go good with nuts and bolts, I agree. It would go good with nuts and bolts. Alright, and then we have the Prairie Heel Biters, which is, you know, just a fairly tasteful pair of spurs. Like this is slot filler. This is loadout filler. This is what you do when you gotta put something to complement the other hats. This Texas 10 gallon, it's just a really good accessory. A simple, good accessory. I'll put this one in B tier because there are other accessories that are gonna come later that are not as good. This is probably one of the best ones. I'm gonna try to rate accessories against other accessories, and this is probably one of the best ones. And there's another one that's about to come up that's also very good. Not this one though, Pip-Boy. As far as promo items go, it could be worse. It is just the Pip-Boy in TF2, so at least it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb that bad. Compared to other promo items, it's not amazing, but it's at least not super distasteful or super insulting or an assault on the eyes. I'll put it in C tier. And also, giving it to the engineer makes sense, because, you know, he's the techie guy, so he's gonna have the techie techno bracelet. Fine. You can twist my arm for that one, and it doesn't look too bad. I'll put it in bottom. As far as promo items go, it's pretty good. Because there are way worse promo items, like this piece of shit. Rage? Right? This was a promo item for the game Rage? It's like it's a weird boomerang. Why? Just, it's the wing stick. The fuck is this? It's a boomerang. You throw it, you hit people with it. But like, you could have given this to the sniper. Would have made more sense for him, because Australians and boomerangs, makes sense, but no, fuck it, engineer, sure. Also, it's bad. E sucks. Go away. No one uses this. Who uses this? Seriously. I don't think I've ever seen this in game once. Like, promo items used to mean something way back in the day when Steam wasn't that popular. And when owning another game and then showing it off to your friends in TF2 actually meant something. But now that Steam is the biggest platform for online video game sales, it makes fucking, there's no joy or reason to have these promo items anymore, because just being on Steam is promotion alone enough, and people are gonna buy your shit. You know what I mean? So, bleh. Imagine after all these tier lists, the shit cosmetic spike up the TF2 stock market. Fuck, no effect to me, because I ain't buying the shit cosmetics. Speaking of bad, Dota. We love Dota in TF2, don't we? We TF2 players really love Dota. That's why we're here, right? It's why we're here. Like, I feel like the Dota and TF2 spheres don't really have that much overlap. Like, you're not gonna get a lot of Dota players playing TF2 and vice versa. You know what I mean? This was Valve pushing Dota. This was back in 2011, right? This was back in 2011 when Valve was pushing Dota really, really, really hard, and they were doing everything they could to get people playing their new game. And one of their tactics was advertising it in TF2 with promo items. So, this literally doesn't exist. No, I know, it's like, it's part of the handful of shit. So like, Dota officially released in 2013, yes, but they had the, I always forget. So, it wasn't free to play, but you could play Dota. So Dota was, sorry, okay, rewind. Dota was released as free to play in 2013, but you could pay to play Dota starting in 2011. That was the release of the game, because that's when the first international happened. Yeah, that was when the first international happened, was in 2011, and this was involved with that nonsense somehow. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm seeing people say in the chat, this isn't even in the game, right? It's never been claimed. How did no one ever claim this? I know you can't get this anymore. Oh, that's, so okay, yeah. If memory serves, this was a prize to people that played in the Dota tournament, and this was offered to people that were in that tournament, but because Dota players don't play TF2, no one redeemed it. So it just doesn't exist in the game, because Dota players don't touch. Okay, I shouldn't say not all Dota, because I know one Dota player who's in my Discord that plays TF2, but the vast majority of Dota players don't play TF2. Also, it's fucking ugly. If it was put in the game, get rid of it. It's terrible. Okay, let's move on to something more tasteful. The engineer's blueprints. If you're gonna make a pocket cosmetic, this is it. This is like about as good and tasteful as a pocket cosmetic as you can get. Just makes sense. It's the blueprints you see when you're deploying a building. He has them in his pocket. It just makes sense. He's an engineer. He's got the blueprints. It's good. It's a good slot filler. Another really, really good slot filler. Another really good accessory. Putting it in B tier. With the spurs. Just a really solid, simple cosmetic. It's awesome. It's very good. Then we have the hat with no name, which again was originally only for the soldier, and then they retroactively changed it to be available for engineer, demo, and sniper. Looks pretty good on the engineer. Don't think it comes close to the Texas 10 gallon, but it is a very good hat. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Around here, I think. We'll say A tier. Close to top of A tier. It is a really good hat, but it's not peak enjoyer tier material. I think right there is appropriate. It's not S tier because we have the Texas 10 gallon, which is just way better. Way better. No, I'm not giving it low S tier. I can't do that. All right, pencil pusher. Here we go. Another fairly decent hair cosmetic. The modeling being markedly better than this one, than the professor's peculiarity. Say that 10 times fast. I only like this one because of the pencil. I only like this one because of the pencil. Because I just like the idea of the engineer having a pencil behind his ear. It works for his character. Oh, right, this one's a misc, isn't it? Aren't these like really expensive now? Let's see. Holy shit, these are expensive. Wow. Man. Fuck me. Okay, what are they selling this for? What are they selling this shit for? Is there one on sale? 1,300 keys for a Burning Flames one? Oh, God. Wow, that's a bit much. Yeah, I'd like to, you know, put a down payment on a home for a hat. No thanks. I'll say B tier. I'd say about right here is good for it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, you gotta sell an organ to get this hat. Way better than the other Balder hair cosmetic. Yeah, this one's, yeah, it's way better than the Professor's Peculiarity for sure. Okay. Virtual reality headset. I get what they were going for. It has the similar aesthetic to his other buildings with the metal and the colors. It's just ugly. It really is. It's really ugly. Like, you get the You Tried award, right? The star. But it just looks bad. It really does. Again, you can make the argument for it because it's very much stylized like his other buildings, but so it's not quite on the grounds for deletion, but it's just ugly. It really is just ugly. No, I can't put this in E tier. I can't put this in E tier. But it's just ugly. Again, you can twist my arm and say that it looks fine because it's similar to an engineer building, but it's just, and it's certainly in line with TF2's style, but it's ugly. That's the problem. It's ugly. Want to ask advice for losing weight? If you can hold out to the end, to the end of the stream, which is going to be in a couple of hours, sure. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to deviate and give weight loss advice at the moment. Okay, next up we have the original Scream Fortress Bugman set for the engineer. Personally, I think this one's really ugly, but I do like the level of thought that was put into this one, because there's layers to this, right? At the surface level, you have the voice change, which is funny, fine, but also, this is a reference to The Fly. The movie The Fly. Like, I'm surprised more people don't talk about this. Yeah, it's a Fly reference because the engineer builds teleporters, and because, you know, in the movie The Fly, Jeff Goldblum gets in the teleporter with a fly at the same time and turns into a fly. It's a Fly reference. It's pretty cute. I like that. So, there you go. It's okay. I'd say it's definitely the classic Halloween cosmetic set, but he has other Halloween cosmetics that visually look better. I'll put them in top of B, because there are other Halloween cosmetics that just look a lot better. This one's really goofy, and really big and bulky and sticks out like a sore thumb, but there's charm to it. I like the reference to the fly. It's tonally appropriate. It's not a good okay, so it's both good and bad as a media reference item, right? It's a good comedic reference to a movie that kind of has that dark, grim, but slightly comedic vibe to it, which goes in line with TF2's, you know, almost dark comedic style before it got flanderized by the comics and other goofy shit. You know, because TF2 was designed to have humor. It had humor baked into it, right? But it was more, I don't want to say edgy, but it was more mature humor, you know? You know, shit calling and name talking and dancing over somebody's head you just killed, that kind of thing. But then it just went to shit when it's like, okay, fuck it, we'll put toys on people's heads, you know what I mean? Yeah, very crude, gritty, cruel kind of humor. So a fly reference fits pretty well with TF2, with TF2's tone. But the execution, that's the bad part, because it's just big, bulky fly head on the engineer. So, yeah. The highest I'll give it is B tier. Probably not top of B tier, but somewhere there. Yes. Itsy Bitsy Spider, the voodoo doll of the spy in his pocket. It's a reasonably acceptable joke, right? Yeah, it makes sense. It's a reasonably acceptable joke. And it's in that sense, you know, like the virtual reality headset, visually it's fine, but it's still not a good cosmetic. It's still not a good cosmetic. Like, even as a slot filler, it's not very good. But tonally, the joke makes sense. Engineer could, you know, he's literally poking fun at the spy. Again, you can twist my arm on this one. I never understand why people berate others for liking FemPyromod while they post naked buff mercs as a meme. Is this because of a lack of major updates this game didn't receive for years? I don't think one has anything to do with the other. I think, I don't know. I talked about this before. It's not exclusive to TF2. Sexualization of women is viewed far more negatively than the sexualization of men. Yeah, that's why. I think that's the general reason. Buff mercs are ironic, FemPyro is Gooner. Ah yes, like I said on that other stream before. Very well modeled, meticulously detailed, shredded pecs of the engineer. The well-shaded, well-designed, ripping back muscles. The rough, chiseled abs. Totally ironic, by the way. Completely ironic. Totally ironic. Someone spent hours fully modeled, glistening with that, just a hint of sweat. You can feel the musk coming off of these images. Totally ironic, by the way. Totally ironic. The flex of the pec as they turn and gaze off into the sunset. Looking off into the distance, the 1,000-yard stare. That strong, buff man. Totally ironic, by the way. Totally ironic. Totally ironic. Allfather. It looks bad on the engineer. I'm sorry. It does look really bad on the engineer. D? That's about it. There's nothing else to say about this one except that it looks bad on the engineer and it goes in D tier. When there are other facial hair cosmetics that look way better than this one does. Simple as that. Now, even the second style looks bad on the engineer. Then we have the Brainiac goggles. This was part of the Groordbort set of stuff? Yes, it was. This is part of this was one of the Groordbort items. Ugly. Not even good as a slot filler. It has... like the other Groordbort items, I like that they had enough eye for detail, that they stylized them enough where inside of TF2 they don't stick out that much. And they look okay, but it's still ugly. I'm putting it in D tier, maybe top of E tier. This one almost doesn't belong. I'll put it top of E tier. Just, it's not very good. It really doesn't look good. Yeah, and you never see it used either. I don't think I've ever seen this in game once. I've never seen this in game once. Not one time. On the other hand, the Brainiac's hairpiece, I see all the time. This is the other half of the equation, by the way. These both go together, right? These both go together. But the Brainiac's hairpiece is way better. This is like, of the Groordbort set of items, this is probably the best one. It looks really good. Looks like Engineer hasn't left his house for about a year because he's working on something, you know? Like Doc, Back to the Future. I say probably top of B tier. I vote top of B tier. It's fun. It looks decent. It is indeed a very underrated cosmetic, I do agree. I like this one. It's not quite A tier, but it is very good. There are other facial hair cosmetics, which we'll get to, that are absolutely A tier. This is not one of them. It's not one of them. So, going back to what I said a little while ago about things being tasteful, about things being reserved, this is the polar opposite of that, where it's just a giant stocking on the Engineer's thigh with a bunch of stuff. If memory serves, I'm probably wrong. I think this was another one of the items that you could get from the winter sale way back in the day, and that's why you never see it. I might be wrong, but it doesn't matter because it still sucks. And just, you can't, I can't, this is kind of an unforgivable item. I'm putting it in E tier, it really is. It's an unforgivable item, I'm putting it in E, it sucks. It's not even good Christmas filler, it blows. Like, at least there's a wrench in there. I think that's what is for the person asking. It saves it because there's a wrench in there. We have plenty of deletion tier items we'll get to later, don't worry. But it's, we'll put it bottom of E tier. Unforgivable, like it did something to me personally. It did. It offended me. This item's existence offends me. Therefore, it's done something to me personally. Even if it didn't mean to, it did. Alright? I take immense personal offense. I feel physical pain when I see content like this in TF2. Two Fort Tooth Kickers, I forgot this was for the Engineer. As far as boots go, I guess they're fine. The frilly edges don't really look that good, but I guess they're fine. C tier? They're not the worst. Yeah, the Two Fort Tooth Kickers, they're not great, but they're just fine. Yeah, I don't want to put them above C tier. They're an acceptable slot filler, but they probably and they do just look the best on Sniper. They do look the best on Sniper. The frilly edges literally murder this cosmetic. I think I have to agree. Except on Sniper. They look good on Sniper. But not really anybody else. Like, they're for Scout? I forgot they're for Scout. They're for Scout, they're for Engineer, they're for Sniper, they're for Demo Man, and also Soldier. But they only look good on the Sniper. And if memory serves, this is one of the cosmetics that got retroactively changed to be on multiple classes. I think this was originally only for Sniper? I might be wrong. It was originally only for one class, I think, and then they changed it to go on 4 others. So they're for Scout for some reason. Not very good. I'll bump them down a bit more. They're just not very good on Engineer. I have to rate them based on how they look on the class, and they just don't look that good on Engie. They really don't. And then we have the Idea Tube. If you really want to load up on the blueprints, you can pair it with the Engineer's blueprints. It makes for a funny gag, and on their own, you know, it's another acceptable slot filler. It's another one that's just totally fine. There's nothing offensive about this at all. It's just good. It's just okay. You know what I mean? We'll put this in B tier. We'll put this also with the Engineer's blueprints. These are both equal. These are one and the same as perfectly acceptable slot fillers. We'll just line these up. They're both very good. Also 99 cents, thank you. Also, I missed another donation. Buckaroo is just a poor man's 10-gallon. I just think it's a poor man's hat. It's not even a poor man's 10-gallon. It's not very good. Okay, Champ Stamp. Promo item for game's name I forgot. Yeah. It's fine, I guess. It's a kind of okay tattoo. It doesn't really fit in the game's style, putting a dragon tattoo on the Engineer, and I think it's also for Sniper. But it's just... I don't know. It doesn't even look that bad. I think it's just the tone and the style that doesn't fit very well. I'll put it in, like, upper-ish D tier. I'll put it in upper-ish D tier. The fact that Zesty rated some Engineers' hats higher than Engineer's own head is bald shaming. Listen, it just doesn't look that good. Like, listen, if you're a bald man, right? Bald and or balding men like myself, you gotta compensate somehow. Either you shave your head completely and you grow out facial hair. Because a lot of bald dudes don't want to look like Mr. Clean, right? A lot of bald dudes don't want to look like Mr. Clean. So they grow out facial hair, or they wear a hat. In this instance, Engineer does neither. So, sticks in B tier. So, like, this also does not help, right? Like, you pair this, you pair that clean split right there, right? Thankfully, the top of my head's not losing hair, but it's all, I got the double runways going, right? Thankfully, hair's staying up here. But this, right? This right here, you see this shit? This receding hairline, this does not match with that very well. And people wonder why I'm single, right? That has to burn and salt that. I probably have to shave my head at some point. Then a woman might acknowledge my presence. Texas half pants. These really push the line with, as like, this is about as far as you should go with a cosmetic before it becomes too much, right? This is as far as you can go with a cosmetic before it becomes too much. This was executed pretty well, primarily because of the color. It's a tan, neutral color. It doesn't pop out to the eyes too much. It matches reasonably well with a couple of other items. Like, pick any Western hat, and it goes okay with this, and you pair it with the spurs, and you're done. It works. But outside of a Western loadout, it does not go with anything. You have to wear it with the Texas 10-gallon, or the old geezer, or the Buckaroo's hat, or the Timer's topper, and the spurs, or even the 2-4 tooth kickers. But on its own, this cosmetic works with, it doesn't work. It has to go with other Western cosmetics. So this only exists as a slot filler for Western loadouts. So I have to put it in C tier. Bottom of C tier for that reason. It just does not have that much versatility at all. And then we have the Triad Trinket. Thankfully, as far as promo items go in TF2, another one that's just one of the best. It just opens up the shirt and gives them a gold chain. Very inoffensive. I don't even remember how this looks on Engineer, to be honest. TF2... I have to refresh my memory on how it looks on Engineer. It doesn't even open his shirt. What a shame. Man. It doesn't even open his shirt. You don't see fucking nothing. That's a shame. Well, D tier it goes. D tier it goes. It's disappointing. I want to see that man's chest. I have to see it. It's just disappointing. Nothing else to be said. Okay. Don't know about this one. I want to like the Tin 1000. I really do. And I think I do. I think I like it. As far as the original wave of the MBM hats goes, this one's the coolest only because it makes the engineer's eyes red. Or blue, based on what team you're on. As far as Robo hats go, it's one of the best, but that's a low bar to meet. Right? It's a low bar to meet. It's not saying that a Robo hat is good. Like, the best Robo hats get on par with some of the worst normal hats, you know what I mean? Yeah, sure, it could be worse. I'm not saying this is bad. And as far as Robo hats go, it's fine. I'm gonna say C tier. I'm gonna say C tier, right around here. It's cool enough, but on its own, you can really only wear this hat and nothing else. It doesn't really go with any other cosmetics, except Halloween exclusive ones that came years later. So, eh. It's just fine. It's just okay. Ah! Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Remove this fucking string cheese head. Remove the string cheese head. It's so bad. Just such a terrible, terrible promo item that doesn't look good in any case, in any example. It always looks terrible. The fucking crafty air looks like string cheese. It's like a mozzarella cheese stick that's been left out in the sun for too long. It's like, you know what, I relive a very fond memory. I relive a very fond memory of my childhood whenever I see this hat. Because a very common snack I would have when I was like 5 years old, when we went camping, or on a road trip, or hiking, it would be the shitty, hyper-processed mozzarella string cheese that you got in like the plastic slim. Like I have like healthy Slim Jims here, right? I have some healthy Slim Jims here. You know, they came in a package like this, you know, except it's mozzarella string cheese. It's not really cheese either. They call it cheese, but it's not cheese. It looks like cheese, kind of. It doesn't even look like cheese. It looks like a tube of chalk. It looks like a tube of chalk wrapped in plastic. And then you pull it out, and you're not supposed to just like bite it. The point is like you peel it's food that was designed to be played with, right? It's for kids. You peel the cheese, you peel off ribbons, you flip it around like a snake, and then you eat it, right? It's play food. It's play food made for kids, right? It's terrible for kids. It's hideous, miserably unhealthy, and it's so salty. God, mozzarella cheese sticks are so salty. Fuck. I don't know how I ate those as a kid without my mouth just turning into it. Like, I don't know why I was fed that. It's fun food. I know why I was fed it. It's fun food. It's an easy snack. It's totally okay. Yeah, it's a cheese-like substance, right? Cheese-like substance. But fond memory when I was a kid is I would get the cheese stick, I would take like the bottom nub, right? Like the bottom 15% of the cheese, and then I'd peel it all the way down like a banana, and then I'd have like a, what's it called? The thing with all the tassels on it, you whip people with it, whatever that's called. I would just make that out of cheese, and I'd like hit people with it. That's what I would do. I don't know what it's called. But that's how I would play with my food when I was a kid. Is I'd beat people with my cheese flail, or whatever it's called. These are my protein snacks, by the way. They're called chomps. They're you know, as far as beer sausages go, they're pretty healthy, relatively speaking. They're not like super hyper processed. They're still processed, but not as bad as like Slim Jims are. And like, you can peel this open and you squeeze it. And like, it doesn't, like, it's not super, like, the thing I like about these is they're not oily. Like, I can squeeze this one and it won't drip with oil. These are pretty good. Weaponized cheese, true warrior, indeed. Okay, moving on. It's just a cat. This is just a cat. And nothing else. There's no joke. There's no reference that I know of. It's just a cat. It's just a cat. There's nothing else there. No, it's not even an end of the line reference because this one came out in 2012, I think? 2011? It's inoffensive, but it sucks. It's just a cat. Just a fucking cat and nothing else. No, get rid of it. I don't like pocket pets. Speaking of Halloween, it goes into the level of, I guess you call it body horror. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really keep my finger on the pulse of mainstream media discourse. But is body horror a more a more modern term for describing very intentional gore in movies and media? Or am I just completely out of touch and out of a loop? It feels like it's been a very popular term as of late. Either way, it's just gross. It really is just gross. I don't like the idea of an exposed brain. I don't like, it's like I said on the Soldier stream, I don't like looking at it. I don't like looking at it. I don't like thinking about it. It's like these exhaust pipes on his head. I don't know. It's just ugly. I don't like looking at it. Ugh. Oh no, the fishhook one is way worse, which we'll get to later. And then we have the fucking spooky sleeves. So, the spooky sleeves was another example of a cosmetic that was originally only made for one class, the Scout, and then they retroactively made it for Demo Heavy Engineer... I forget was it Sniper, I think? It was for one class, and now it's for 5. Why? Like, why? Yeah, it's not fitting for engineer at all, and it looks like shit. It's just also femboy. This is another example. Another example of a cosmetic that only femboys use. Only. They dye it pink, they dye it lime green, and femboys use this. Why? Because of the slim arms and the sleeves and the fingerless gloves. That's why. It is. It's femboy bait. I've never liked this cosmetic, E tier. I've never liked it. I've never liked it. What needs to be said that has not already been said about the Halloween souls in these tier lists, man? Like, what else needs to be said? What else needs to, like, you already know where this goes. It's just, these are consistently just some of the best Halloween cosmetics we've ever received. So much charm, so much soul, they're insanely well made, they're so fun, you can make so many different loadouts with these. God, I love the Voodoo Curse souls. They're so fun. What would I say is the weakest Voodoo Curse soul? It's a really good question. It's really hard to say. I like Spies because it's just a skull with his mask over it. I think Spies is by no means the worst. Neither is Pyro's. Pyro and Spy have like a lot of character because you can't really see their face, so they just remove their face altogether, and it's just a skull. I will agree, Snipers is pretty boring. I like Demoman's a lot because his legs got blown off, so that one's charming. Let's see. I have to look up pictures. Hold on. I have to look up pictures. I need to inspect. Probably Sniper, honestly. Sniper or Scout, they're pretty boring. And by boring, they're still very good cosmetics, don't get me wrong. So I'd say either Scout or Sniper is probably the weakest. Yeah, Scout or Sniper are the weakest ones. Can someone explain the joke to me? Can someone explain that? Because this is a Hitman promotional item. This was a Hitman promo item. Why is it a rubber duck? Why is this a rubber duck? Are there rubber ducks in that game or something? Is that like a running joke or a gag? The Hitman games have an explosive rubber ducky. Is that really the reason? Okay. There's an explosive duck in the game. Ah, it looks like shit in TF2. Bye. So bad and tacky. They're dumb. I hate it. This is just a really bad promo item. It's not going in S. Fuck off. Just bad. Just really bad. Hitman has a weird obsession with ducks, like Solid Snake has an obsession with boxes. There you go. Gotta have a quirky factor to your character. Okay, Barnstormer. Pretty solid hat. This one went with the, I forgot that the jacket wasn't added until sometime later. This one's a decent hat. It doesn't mix and match very well with other cosmetics, but it still looks really good with the, I forget the name of the jacket. We'll get to it later. It's just good. It's just okay. Probably B tier. I don't want to give it A. Like around upper B tier. It's just a decent hat. I don't think I want to rate it higher than the Texas Slim Dome Shine. I'll bump this up a bit. Bump you here. Put the Barnstormer here. I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Probably pretty good. And then we have the Mutton Man. Mutton Man just looks really good on Engineer. This one just makes sense. It's just a really good slot filler for NG. Probably, we'll say low A on NG. Low A on NG for the Mutton Man. It looks really good. It's solid. It is a solid slot filler, 100%. Short people with mutton chops. Short people with mutton chops makes sense. You care to elaborate as to what that means? What? So all people who are short in my chat, I know you're here. I know there's some short people here. Do you have mutton chops? Are all the shorties here, do you have mutton chops? I gotta know. I need all 5'6" men to roll up and out yourself as to whether or not you have mutton chops. Define short. Below 5'10", I guess, or below 5'9", to be a bit more generous. Below 5'9". Listen, my perspective on what is short is very different because I'm 6'7", okay? My perspective on what's short is very different because my view of the world is wildly different than people of normal height, right? Like 5'10" is average for a man. Yeah, I have to remind myself that 5'10" is average for a guy, at least in America, right? I'm way above that. So, for me, I consider someone being short if they're pushing almost a foot shorter than me, right? if you're 6'2", a short dude's probably 5'6", right? But me at 6'7", a short dude's like 5'10". So, anyways, we've debunked that short people have mutton chops. We've debunked it, because not a lot of people are going to be ousting themselves, and also, I just don't think that's true. 6'8", it's just awkward, flights and back issues. Dude, tell me about it. Dude, we level, we relate. It sucks finding a good airplane seat and not getting scalped on the price. It blows. Because you have to have an exit row. You have to be in and even bulkhead seats sometimes just don't work. You have to get lucky and be on a certain, like, if you're on like a 787 Dreamliner, then the bulkhead seats on there usually have enough room for tall people. But if you're on a 737 or on like an Embraer, the bulkhead seats just don't have enough room for your legs. It sucks. And you have to have an exit row. And they charge you more. Like, that really sucks. Like, for someone like me, where I cannot change my height, like, if you're a fat fuck, and you don't fit in your airplane seat, that's on you. You can fix that. I can't chop inches off my legs to fit in a fucking airplane seat. I have to spend the extra money by default. That's not fair. Like, I know I'm in the minority of tall people, right? Like, I know I'm in the minority, but it's not fair. Why do I have to spend an extra $500 on plane tickets just so my legs don't, like, so I don't get a blood clot, right? Just so I don't get a blood clot when I'm flying somewhere. That sucks. It really does. Ugh. Just be shorter. Thankful to be in the 6'+ crew. There you go. Can you be my blood clot? No, I sadly cannot be your blood clot. I apologize. Why do obese people get accommodated, but I gotta drop a band when I go to work? I think, well, there was a cultural movement to acknowledge being morbidly obese to the point to where it was unhealthy, and where normal societal, like, norms couldn't work for you anymore. There was a huge push to, like, normalize that and accept that as healthy and okay. And it got so big to the point where we started allowing people to sue companies for not accommodating something that's effectively their fault. Most of the time. Of course, not 100% of the time, right? Some people are fat because they have, like, a genuine disorder. But, yeah, the whole body positivity, healthy at any size thing really fucked over all of that. So, skill issue, learn how to fold up your legs like an ostrich. Even then, the seats are not wide enough. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Anyway, moving on. We have a lot more to get through. We have the Grizzled Growths and the Last Straw, and also, for some reason, the Prize Plushie? These were all promo items from the same game, if memory serves? Like, sure, you can make Engineer look like a hillbilly, but they still look really bad. Like, these are both D tier, right? You can make arguments for these, but they still look pretty bad. You know, they're kind of in this territory. They're ugly, so they belong here. They belong here. And then this fucking teddy bear is just the teddy bear from the game, so it's just asset from video game in other video game. Grounds for deletion. It's shit. It's grounds for deletion. I think this beard is ugly. It looks like the Engineer dipped his face in wax and it's kind of dribbling off his chin. I don't like it. The Cave, I think, is the game? The Cave? If chat is correct. And then we have this. This is from BioShock. It's so ugly. I think I've seen this game. I think I've seen this once. I think I've seen this once. Only once. In the entire history of my time playing this game, I've only seen this once. And it's fucking horrible. It's bad. Another one that just should not be in TF2. It's genuinely terrible. You know what? You're right. It does. It looks like the Noid. It looks like the fucking Noid. Oh my god, you're right. Yeah, it's the Domino's creature mascot thing that they use as a marketing campaign for a while. It looks like the Noid. You gotta have a Noid loadout, I guess. And then, like, we're on a run of really bad, mediocre, or bad and or mediocre promo items. You know, we have the Wilson weave from Don't Starve. It just looks like shit. It looks good on nobody. It looks like a Lego man's hair. It looks like the plastic hair from a Lego minifigure that was put on the mercenaries. It looks awful. It looks awful. Just get rid of it. Just all these promo items suck. They're not good. It looks like plastic Lego man hair. It really does. It looks like plastic Lego man hair. Okay, now we're entering the dark times. The brief window of dark times where we just have all of the really bad Robo cosmetics. The thing about the Robo cosmetics, the thing that pisses me off the most about these is like, hey, let's either take a really beloved hat and then make it look way worse, or let's take a bunch of cosmetics that no one gave a shit about beforehand and then present them as though, hey, remember this really cool thing? Remember this awesome cosmetic no one uses? Here, have it in a shitty robot form. It's like, why? 'Cause they're all so bad. None of these are good. All of these are a crime. All of these are just have no business being in the game. Like, the mining helmet is the only one I'll put in D, but the rest of these are AIDS and have no business being in the game. Much like many other of the Robo hats, they're just really, really bad. Get rid of all of them. Go away. No, I'm not putting them in E. I'm not putting them in E. They're all terrible. Like, sure, the descriptions are fun, but it doesn't save them from being bad hats. I'll put the tin gallon in E tier. How does that sound? The tin gallon can go in E tier because it's at least referencing... This goes in D. This goes in E. It's at least referencing a better hat, right? It's at least referencing a better hat, but it's still shit. It's still shit. It is. It is. Nothing else to be done. Yeah, exactly. Why would you ever use these when the normal alternatives look way better? I mean, that's it. Why would you do that when they look way better? It's like it's so very early on. The Pocket Cosmetics really overstayed their welcome. They really overstayed their welcome. I get the joke. You got a Pyro protecting the engineer from the spy, being a Pybro, fine, but still sucks. Like the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Put it down here with the Itsy Bitsy Spider in D tier. It's not even a good loadout filler. Just right there. It at least has a cute joke attached to it, right? No, the void is reserved for a very specific few. Don't worry. All the really bad stuff comes later. Don't worry. The dry gulch gulp. God, that's again, say that one 10 times fast. Dry gulch gulp. I can see an argument. This one's cute enough. It's not like a kitty cat in his pocket. It's the working man putting his drink in his waist belt, like a water bottle or his pocket while he keeps working, right? As someone who has performed many an hour of manual labor myself, having a water bottle in my pocket or on my waist belt or something or nearby makes sense. And I've seen guys like take their drink from Whataburger or like another fast food joint. Like this is something that does happen in real life, right? This is something that does happen in real life where they take their fucking drink and they put it in their pocket as they keep working. This is a real thing. This happens, right? The engineer's the working man, so I'll deem this as an acceptable slot filler at the bottom of C tier. Maybe a little higher. It's not nearly as bad as other slop filler. I could jump ahead to one that we're about to get to, but I'm not gonna. We'll get to it. The Flared Frontiersman. How many of you even knew this existed? I forgot this was in the game. I was reminded of this item's existence today. And I like it. It gives him bell bottoms and a belt buckle. It's pretty nice. It's actually a pretty decent loadout filler. That's a nice one. This mixes and matches with a lot of cosmetics. It's pretty good. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Like around here. It's pretty solid. It's a good one. Elvis loadout filler? Yeah, that's true. Because we have the Elvis hat, the Partners Pompadour. I knew this one existed. This one has a certain level of charm to it. It's okay. Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun hat that's not extremely tacky. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's exactly in line with Engineer's character, but I'll put it in the mid-range of B tier hats, just in this territory. It's alright. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I rank Scout's Elvis hair high. The thing about Scout's pompadour is, he's like it's called the Punk's pompadour, it's the kind of hairstyle, like the greaser style type of hair of the 60s and 70s, which matches Scout really well. So that's why Scout's pompadour was rated a lot higher than one on Engineer. Because the way it looks on Engineer is like it's either Elvis or more of like the Vegas mob boss kind of a thing, like it's like the mob ran Vegas in the earlier days, and this looks like a guy who's kind of running the casino, comes to greet you down the lobby kind of a thing. That's the kind of vibe I get from it. It's not quite in line with Engineer's character, but it's just okay. It's just okay. Then we have the Trash Toter. Another acceptable slot filler. Another acceptable slot filler, pieces of broken down buildings inside. It's fine. It's inoffensive. It's just okay. It's not as good as like the Blueprint slot fillers, so I'll say top of C tier, but it's perfectly fine. It's acceptable. Yeah, and the bag is cool. The bag is nice. It's just okay. It is big, but it's still okay. What's not okay, it's just a fucking Game Boy. It's just a Game Boy slapped on Engineer's thigh. Why? Yeah, this is a self-insert moment, that's for sure. It is indeed a self-insert item. What a shame. What a shame. It's ass. It just should have never been put in the game. E tier. E tier. Like at least it's small, right? It's fucking terrible. Go away. Be gone. It's a Game Boy. It's a fucking Game Boy. Whatever. It's shit. Cuban Bristle Crisis. Really, really good on the Engineer. Am I remembering correctly? Hold on. Cuban Bristle Crisis. Was this one? This was another one that was retroactively changed, if memory serves. Yeah, this one was originally for the Heavy, and then it was put on Soldier and Engineer. And, luckily enough, it looks really good on Soldier and Engineer. It looks really good on Engie. Is it his best facial hair cosmetic, though? Honestly, I think it is. I think it is his best facial hair. Even though it wasn't originally for him, I think it is his best facial hair cosmetic. Because the Gold Digger is also really good, but it's not, it just can't compare. I don't think the Gold Digger is nearly as good. This is also a good one. But it's not the Cuban Bristle Crisis. I'm putting this in top of A tier. I hate it. And everyone immediately unloads. Oh, it's Uncle Dane. It's Uncle Dane. Dane ruined it. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. The Cuban Bristle Crisis does go with a lot more loadouts than the Gold Digger. Why not bottom of S? Because I don't think it deserves S tier. This one does not deserve S tier, but the Cuban Bristle Crisis does. The Cuban gives Engie a Chad chin? Yes, absolutely. 100%. Let's see. Then we have the Special Eyes. I like these personally. I think these are fun. I like these a lot. These are just fun. They work really well on Pyro. They work really well on Engineer. I love the different styles. Something that Valve really pulled off about Engineer is that he manages to be extremely expressive without his eyes being visible at all. Like, that's a really cool achievement that not a lot of people acknowledge. They managed to make Engineer as expressive as he is without ever showing his eyes, which is really fucking cool. And then the Special Eyes just puts a little pizzazz on that, and I like that a lot. It's a really fun cosmetic. I like these a lot. And yes, I did miss the Macho Man. These are S tier, because they look really good on Engineer. Right up there. Fucking awesome. We love the Macho Man in this house. We love the Macho Man in this house. Macho Man makes my Engie look like one of my uncles. There you go. Reminds me of the Spider-Man modern suits? Huh? I guess so. I don't know what you're referring to because I don't really watch like Marvel movies. Like the Spider-Man, like why does it look like the modern Spider-Man? Is it like a picture or something? I don't fucking know. Is it the eyes? I don't know. All right, moving on. It's way better on Engineer than it is on Soldier. I'll give you that much. It's way better on Engineer than it is on Soldier. It gives off the dwarf feeling, which is fine. It's funny. But it's still not that good. It's not bad. We'll put it in C tier. I think this is the area that the C tier was waiting for was this cosmetic. It's fine. It just doesn't look that good with other cosmetics. It really doesn't. It doesn't match with other things too well. It's like, why a Viking beard on Engineer? Like, at least the Viking beard on Soldier goes with a couple of his hats, I suppose. But just not really that well on Engie. It's just fine. It's not that it's too detailed, it's just the fact that it's a Viking beard. Yeah, okay for the dwarf aesthetic, it's good at least. Yeah, it is good. It's not, it doesn't deserve to be below C tier. Engie's too short for it to work. He's a dwarf, it works fine. Is good. Dwarf-phobic, nah, nonsense. I hate this thing. I really do. Halloween cosmetic, but I just hate it. I really hate this one. The Grease Monkey. Just... I get the joke. I get it. I don't like it. D. I'm gonna say D tier. Right. We'll put you right, like right there. Yeah, just... I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this one. What do I dislike about it? Makes Engineer's head a monkey. That's it. Makes Engineer's head a fucking monkey. Awesome. Cool. Moving on. Sucks. Snaggletooth Stetson. I always forget that this item exists. It's another Halloween restricted item. Painfully mediocre. It really doesn't have a lot of Halloween loadout potential. It just kind of sucks. It does. Also D tier for this one. Also D tier. Like a here somewhere. It's just not that good. Yeah, it is a very forgettable hat. It's just not... It's not very good. Yeah, the Abominomicon, but it's a hat. It's just not good. Okay, here's the Dog Fighter. This is the one that goes with the Barnstormer. This one's pretty okay. the thing that rubs me the wrong way is like, okay, let's strip away almost all of the primary team color on Engineer and only put it on one armband and his sleeves. That rubs me the wrong way. But overlooking that, it is a nice coat. It looks really good. But I have to dock it a point because of how much it changes his default colors. So I'm putting it in top of B tier. I'm I have to dock it a point for that reason. I have to. I'm sorry. It is versatile. It goes with a bunch of stuff. A lot of loadout potential. Oh yeah, and the armband you can paint. I forgot about that. You can paint the fucking armband. Yes. If memory serves, you can. So, yeah. In all honesty, miscellaneous cosmetics were a detriment to TF2? I don't think so. I think if, thing is, by that, you can make the argument that all cosmetics were a detriment to TF2, and there is certainly an argument to be made for that. I'm not saying it's one I agree with. But if Valve had just put a lot more care into what items they put in the game, then everything would be more tasteful and of higher quality, but they really stopped caring after 2011-ish as to what they were putting in TF2. Like, after the game went free to play, and Valve kind of went hands-off and focused on Dota and Counter-Strike more, then whatever they put in TF2 kind of became inconsequential for them. So long as it was earning them money, it was fine. And they still had a lot of the original people that worked on TF2 around back then, right? All the designers and artists right there. They were all still at Valve, so they were there giving their input and helping them make the decisions as to what they were going to add. But then after all those guys left, everything went out the fucking window. So. Okay, so here's what I was talking about earlier when it came to the Christmas lights. Here we have the face full of festive. This is where we go too far. This is too much. At just filling his beard full of Christmas lights. The joke is you wear this with the Industrial Festivizer. That's the joke. That's it. It's dumb. It should have started at the Industrial Festivizer and it should have ended at the Industrial Festivizer. Top of E tier. Top of E tier. It is just ugly. It is just ugly. It really is. It is. It's a promo item for BioShock, if memory serves. Just another promo item. It's just like a character from game, but made into a toy or a plushie. And then they gave it to Engineer. Here you go. Awesome. Great. Sucks. Why is it? It wouldn't make sense for any class. Doesn't even matter what class it's for. Stupid. Sucks. Yeah, and you've never seen this item in game either. Never seen it in game. Antarctic Researcher. Pretty okay. I much prefer the hoodie, which we'll get to later, the other hoodie. This one's decent. It's a pretty good cosmetic. It also suffers from the same problem as the Dogfighter, where it strips away a little bit too much of Engineer's default colors, and it skirts the line of almost too much change. So gotta dock at a point, putting it in top of B tier, but it's still good. You mix and match with a bunch of stuff. It looks pretty good. But I'm just putting it in top of B. Top of B tier. Let's see, and then we have the cute suit. Originally, only for the Pyro, if memory serves, and then they also made it for the Engineer. And so, therefore, it looks kind of weird on the Engineer. It should have just stayed for Pyro. But fuck it, it's Engineers now. And the clipping is really bad. It just doesn't look really good on Engie at all. It's not terrible. D tier, I guess, kind of around here. We'll put it up here, D tier for Engie. it wasn't made for him, and so when it was retroactively placed onto him, it's not a good match. It's not a good match. And then everyone's favorite bird that no one remembers. Ein. Why? Like, why? I don't... Is there a deeper joke to this one that I don't understand? Is there a deeper joke here? Like, is this a reference to something? Or, like, it's beyond me, I don't know. But to me, this is just a bird with engineer's goggles on his shoulder. And it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't go beyond that. It's just a pet cosmetic that is lame. It is. It's a lame pet cosmetic. You know, I guess you could say canary in a coal mine, right? Canary in a coal mine, I guess that could be the joke for it. But still just a bird on a shoulder. Yeah, and I agree. It doesn't even add anything as a slot filler. It's just a bird on his shoulder. E tier. Just a bird on his shoulder. Just a bird on his shoulder. That's the joke. Awesome. Oh, Scotch Saber. I totally forgot about this one. Okay, I lied. No, I lied. Never mind. Third best. Probably third best facial hair for NG. Probably here. A tier, but below this one. It's like my beard. I guess kind of. Well, when this fills out again, it's gonna be more like my beard. It's fine. It's a good facial hair cosmetic. It's decent. These are fine in this area. Yeah, NG does have a few good facial hair cosmetics, I do agree. Okay. Trencher's Topper and the Trencher's Tunic. I think these are fine. Honestly, I think these are a little bit underrated. Just a little bit. I think these should be used more often. These are cool. I like these. Sadly, the Trencher's Topper doesn't really go all that well with other cosmetics. The coat, however, the tunic, you can mix and match with a few things, because it looks like, you know, a pair of working man's overalls. But the helmet, not so much. I'll probably rate the shirt higher than the helmet. The shirt, probably also in B tier territory with all of these. The hat, probably around here with the hot rod. I think there's fine for it. They're both good cosmetics. Nah, I don't want to put the tunic in A. I really don't. Tunic is top tier to go with any cowboy hat, the front tier look. You know what? You've convinced me. You've convinced me. We'll put it in bottom of A tier. We'll bump these up a bit. You've convinced me. I concede. Bottom of A tier for that one. Yes, I know it's World War I, but it does have the Western look about it that you can make it work pretty well with other Western cosmetics. I will concede on that one. It's pretty good. I just don't like this one. I never have. I really don't. To me, this is just Engineer dressed up as Walter. That's what this is for me. This is just Engineer dressed up as the character. That's all this is for me. You guys need to chill the fuck out. Good God. Like, holy, I don't think I've seen a more vocal reaction to any cosmetic in any of these tier lists before this one. Good Lord. It's not even a fitting reference. I mean, I guess because, you know, Breaking Bad is tonally in alignment with TF2. If you're gonna make a reference to something, it works fine in TF2. But it's still just Engineer. It is still just TF2 character dressed up as character, right? Not a lot of thought went into this one. It's fine as a cosmetic, and if you didn't know where this came from as a reference, it would still kind of looks like something the engineer would wear. B tier, I guess. Around here. I can't, maybe not. I don't want to put it above the Hot Rod or the Pump, or I will put it in C. I think around here is fine. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan of the hat. Yeah, like the glasses are a little bit, the thing about the glasses, anytime you're giving engineer glasses, they have to be really bulky because they have to cover his fucking goggles. It would have been better for Medic? Probably. I think Medic, I don't know. What do you think? No, Engineer's got a closer body build. So I think probably Engineer was the best choice. Honestly. Alright, let's go. Let's move on. Move on from the Dane hat. We have the Eggheads overalls. I don't... Why? It's just... I don't like the idea of making the engineers, the mercenaries fat. I don't like the idea of making the mercenaries fat. I don't know why this became acceptable. I don't know why people think this is funny. I just think they're really lame, low-hanging fruit cosmetics. I'm not a fan of these at all. Like the joke is that the engineer's fat. That's about it. The engineer's fat now. Here's your shit. They're not offensive, right? They're not offensive. I don't think they need to be removed from the game, but I don't want to rate them very highly. I'm gonna put them in C tier, both of these. And also my perception on these has been very skewed and warped because how workshop trends tend to go, where it's like, oh, one thing got in, now every mercenary can be fat. And so we have the Gaelic Glutton in the game now. And then they try to make every other mercenary fat, but none of those other ones got in, thank God. So. Goes with the cup cosmetic. It was supposed to go with these, I think. Or no. Was it these? The loafers? It's just... I'm gonna put them in C with the rest of the set. Just a pair of mediocre, lame-ass shoes. I'm not gonna put them as high as the Industrial Festivizer that I'm gonna put the Dry Gulch Gulp up here. Here, bump you up, bring you down. There you go. No, you're down here. You're here, you're here. You're here. There. There. I'm gonna bring these up a bit. Bring these up. All of you get demoted. You're there, you're there, you're there, you're there. There we go. That's better. I appreciate the $10, but I'm not reading that out loud. I recommend getting Sunshine. Go outside. Okay, then we have the Joe on the go. It's like... I get the joke of Poopy Joe being launched on the rocket into space. And now he's in Engineer's backpack for some reason. Also, it's creepy. It is kind of creepy. And I don't think I've ever seen this in game once. It doesn't look like a monkey. It is meant to be a monkey. It's meant to be Poopy Joe. It is creepy. I don't like it. I kind of want to get rid of it. It's another one of those cosmetics that I just don't like looking at it. I'll put it in E tier. I don't like looking at it. It looks like Gollum. It does look like Gollum. He's going for the precious. Going for the precious! Filthy hobbitses defending the princes! The sentry guns is in the way! We have to fight them! We have to fight them! I need my Uber charge, please! Please! It does look like Gollum. Zesty's real voice. Oh, Lord. What did I come back to? You came back to that, unfortunately. Endothermic Exowear. This is probably my favorite engineer shirt. It's pretty good. Mixes and matches pretty well. It is a more modern style hoodie. I understand that, but it's pretty good. 10 more bucks? Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm gonna say an A tier. Probably like right here. I'd say it's pretty good. That one terrible Gollum video game where one of the winning screens is Gollum has won the argument. Why did they make that shit? I watched someone play through that for about 20 minutes and it looked like the most miserable experience one can put themselves through. Why? Why did they ever... First of all, Gollum is the most hated and insufferable character in all of those movies. And for some dumb fucking reason, they decided to make an entire video game about him. What did they think was going to happen? That it was gonna be like the next big smash hit blockbuster game? Like, people like Gollum because he's, you know, like the silly villain, but he's meant to be an irredeemable character. You're not meant to like him. Like, the movies set him up in such a way where you hate his ass. We're like, oh, he's going on this redemption arc, but then he inevitably goes back to his old ways and then, you know, tries to fucking kill everybody. Yeah, Gollum's a good guy, actually, after killing people and... Yeah, and no, sorry, sucks. Engie is obese because the sentry gun exists equal lazy. Sure, but the fact that you need to have a donation to explain why the cosmetic is fine, I'm not. Yeah. And like, why is the engineer lazy? The dude totes around hundreds of pounds of metal and gear on the front lines. He's like the least lazy, like Sniper is the laziest mercenary. He stands still. The engineer is hauling all this fucking equipment and building it and moving it around. Fuck. Engineer's probably jacked because of what he has to move. Think about that for a minute. Engie's gotta be fucking jacked to lift that stuff up, man. And he's got all his guns on him? Fuck. He's like the least laziest. He's like the least lazy mercenary. 100% the least lazy mercenary. You put the Rancho Relaxo in the game, now everyone thinks he's a fat fuck that drinks beer. I mean, yeah, he's like, you have to be like the short, stocky guy to be able to haul loads like that, man. It's like built like a fucking tank. I like giving you kebab money, thank you. He's like a little guy built like a tank. That's the idea. A small, strong man. Oh yeah, Peacenik's ponytail. Okay, this is my favorite hat. This is my favorite hair for the engineer. I'm sorry. I like this one. It's A tier. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a fuck. It's my favorite hair cosmetic for the NG. I love this one. It right immediately an A tier. I fucking love it. It's so good. What makes me adore it? Because it looks like the slicked back Texan guy working in a chop shop. That's what this makes me think of. I love this one so much. Like, same kind of mullet vibes going on with it. It's a really good hair cosmetic. I love this one. Simple as. And speaking of which, here are the tools of the trade. A decent shirt cosmetic that goes with it. You know, he's got his hair put back in a ponytail so the man can work. And he's got his tools on his chest belt. There's whatever the fuck you call his vest. It's good. Also, I wouldn't say it's good as the trench. I'll bump the trenchers a bit. Bump you up, make some room over here. We'll put you down here, I think. I don't want to put you in A tier. Put you in B tier. Pretty good. Slide that over a bit so people can see. There we go. I want to put this in S. I don't want to put it in S tier, but it's a very good shirt cosmetic. So, I love this cosmetic in name only, but otherwise I hate it. It's the Hillbilly Speed Bump, which is a really clever name, but it's also just an armadillo in Engineer's pocket. So, it sucks, but I like the name. Ooh. So, I guess... I don't know. I'll put it with the other pocket cosmetics Probably lower, because these are like referencing things in game. This one's just an armadillo. I'll put it in top of E tier, but I like the name. I like the name. The only reason people wear the tools cosmetic is because it was in the because it was an expiration date. Okay, still a good cosmetic. Speaking of what's not a good cosmetic. Ah yes, everyone's favorite cosmetic, the Beat Boy, but now turned into an entire costume. The most well thought out and well designed Halloween cosmetic we've ever seen in Team Fortress 2. It's the engineer, but he's an anthropomorphized Game Boy. Awesome. Love it. Hate this thing. Dumb, bumbling box walking and hobbling around a map. Ugh. E. Hate it. No, it's not. No, listen. We'll get to the Void cosmetics very soon. They're coming. You'll know it when we get there. You'll know it when we get there. I really like the bird heads, like the Heavy Robin and the Soldier Hawk. Too bad the newer ones are soulless. They are soulless. Like not that much thought went into them. Like because the older bird heads retain a lot of the same facial characteristics that the Merc models have, so they kind of still look like them, or they over-exaggerate existing features on the Merc models to look like them. Hawk 2 bait? Oh my god, you people are children. You're kids. Why? It's not funny. Oh my god. Oh, it's not fucking funny. Yeah, NG is the fat, strong body type. Yes, he is. So fucking over the blowjob. Listen, I have to tear this down every time it comes up. It's a joke about spitting on a cock and then sucking it off. It's not funny. It's nasty. It's dumb and stupid. Hate that shit. Why was it ever taken to the point that it was? It's a blowjob joke. It is a fucking blowjob joke. Stop describing it. That's gross. That's what it is. It's about giving someone a fucking blowjob. What do you think it's about? Huh? What do you think? It's not like a cute little innocent Fortnite joke or something like that. No, it's about a girl hawking a loogie on a dude's dick and then sucking him off. That's the joke. The joke is sex. Fucking stupid. I'm over it. It's what it is. Did I miss any in that row? No. Gnome. It's the Gnome Engineer. As far as Halloween cosmetics go, it's fine. D, I guess. Probably D tier. It's okay. We'll say D tier. It's just okay. Yeah, this exists? Yeah, it's not a very common one. It really isn't. No, the Iron Fist is next. I haven't skipped that one. That was the next one in the row. Like, see, there you go. There's the, never mind. Iron Fist. I guess it's fine as far as Halloween cosmetics go. You know, engineer experimenting on himself, making other parts of himself a robot. I can see this one being okay. And also, to that effect, you have the Tiny Texan. Where like, oh, it's a tiny engineer driving a giant robot engineer. There's a certain level of comedy with this one that I think is cute for a Halloween cosmetic. It's tacky, but also you have to remember it's Halloween, so I think it's fine. I think I'll put these in C tier. C tier, that's an acceptably tasteful Halloween cosmetic. Same for this. And they're Halloween restricted, so I can't be too harsh on these. So they're fine. I'll rate them lower than the fat engineer stuff, though. They're okay. Tiny Texan is his best cosmetic for A-posing. I suppose so. Okay, now we have the end of the line stuff. We have the, here's the best shirt for engineer. I don't care what people say. This one's really good. The Insulated Inventor is a really fucking good shirt. hands down blows the rest of them out of the water. Really well made. It's fucking good. Goes well with almost everything Engineer has. It's awesome. And then we have the Snow Stompers. These are just a really good pair of shoes. These are just a really good pair of shoes. I love these. You mix and match with a bunch of shit. It's awesome. I want to put these in A tier. I don't care what people say. This is an awesome accessory. One of the better slot fillers for Engineer. They're awesome. Like, End of the Line was like probably the peak in terms of the best cosmetics we got, and then after End of the Line, everything went downhill. That's just the truth. We peaked at End of the Line with the quality of cosmetics, and then everything went downhill. Does Dane use the Insulated Inventor? I thought it was the Dead of Night. Or am I wrong? It shouldn't matter. It's still a good cosmetic. You all need to fucking relax. It doesn't make the cosmetic any less good. It doesn't make the cosmetic any less good. It doesn't make the cosmetic bad. It's fine. Oh no, don't worry, the dispenser thing is coming up next. Here we go. Floating dispenser. I've never seen this in game once. It's very forgettable. It's just a ghost dispenser. I don't really have anything to say about it. Forgettable? Mediocre? Is it rare? I don't even care if it's rare. It's just not very good. I don't know. D? I mean, I'm not offended by it, but I'm just gonna put it in D tier. Not offended. It's fine. Just, eh. Clubsy the Seal. It's just a seal in his pocket. That's the joke. That's the joke. It's just a seal in his pocket. Just like the cat in his pocket, it's a seal in his pocket, and that's it. Sucks. Fucking sucks. Stupid cosmetic. I fucking hate it. Yeah, there's seals in Texas at the zoo, maybe, but they're not exactly native to this part of the world. So fuck it, give Engineer a seal. Why not? I think these are all part of the same set. I'm pretty sure they are. Conacher's comb over, the cop collar, and the holster's heaters. Like, you have the police officer investigator set for the Engineer. These are pretty okay. I like the holsters, what's it called? The holsters heaters the most. It's a pretty good shirt cosmetic. I like this one a lot. I think this one deserves a pretty high rating. I'm gonna put this in A tier. The cop collar the copper's collar really, or cop collar really only works with the full set. Otherwise, there's never a point in using this. So I'm gonna rate this one pretty low for the lack of versatility. I'll put this in like upper D tier. It's perfectly fine with the full set, but on its own, it's just not very good. And then the Conacher's comb over, you don't need the rest of the set to use this one, so this one has reasonable versatility. The modeling on this one really does leave something to be desired. It looks like someone took brown toothpaste and then just squeezed it over his head. Probably would have been better if they just left the top part of his head bald and didn't give him a comb over. It's still okay, I guess. I'll put it low, high C tier, low B tier. Probably here. We'll say high C tier for the Conacher's comb over. It's acceptable. I think it's acceptable. We'll say high C tier. Have a good day and God bless. Thanks, man. God bless. God bless indeed. And then we have the thermal insulation layer. You know, simple. It's just a vest. That's it. It's just a vest. Mix and match with a bunch of stuff. It's just good. It is. It's just good. It's simple. It's good. Sometimes you don't need like you don't need layers to these things. You don't need jokes, you don't need real intent and purpose. Sometimes you just need something simple. And the simplicity of a vest goes a long way. It does, it goes a long way. No, yeah, the engineer does have a lot of very inoffensive, like engineer has a lot of very good cosmetics compared to other classes. Even a lot of his later stuff is reasonably tasteful. We'll get to that soon. Okay, Sheriff Stetson, the Wild West waistcoat, and then the support spurs. These feel a lot more like costume pieces than they do something the engineer would normally wear. Like if this was a Halloween set. If this was a Halloween set, it'd be really cool. I'm surprised something like this wasn't incorporated as a Halloween set way earlier on. The Texas guy dressing up as the sheriff for Halloween, that makes sense. But these being cosmetics you can wear year-round, it's fine, I suppose, but not quite tonally appropriate. I like the vest the least. It doesn't go with anything other than the hat. The hat, I suppose you could wear on its own. It's okay. It could go with a few other things, you know, like a couple of different shirts, and of course, you know, say these pants here. That's also fine. The boots are okay. The boots you can mix and match reasonably well. I honestly prefer the spurs. These here, I think these spurs are better. Click on the right thing. These spurs are better than these boots. The fact they're fully paintable, if I'm remembering correctly, I gotta dock them a point for that. So the boots are okay. Say the boots are in C tier. The shirt I'll put towards the bottom of C tier. Again, it just doesn't go with a lot. And the hat I'll put in probably upper C tier as well. Oops. I'll put the hat in upper C tier. Probably like around here. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. No, I cannot give this A tier. I really can't give this set A tier. I'm sorry. Can't do it. Can't put it in A tier. Maybe B tier for the hat. I'll give you B tier for the hat, honestly, but the other ones, not so much. The rocket operator and the life support system. What's really funny about Invasion is that the Invasion update had really good cosmetics and then some really, really bad ones. These are pretty decent. I do like these. You need, say, the Phononaut or the Spaceman helmet to go with the rest of these, right? To get the full Spaceman loadout. And I really like that retro-futurist style. That works really well with TF2. And these are actually kind of like more in line with a more like age-appropriate sci-fi kind of theming. So these look pretty good in the game. Unfortunately, if they're not part of a Spaceman set, they don't really go with anything. Major lack in versatility there with loadout potential, so probably C tier for both of them. But they can make a cool Spaceman loadout that is fairly stylistically and tonally appropriate with the rest of the game, so I'll put them in C tier. They're not bad cosmetics by any means, but they do lack a lot of loadout potential, so we'll put them in C tier. Exactly, they're good, but they're very hard to combine with other things completely. And then we have the Dead or Alive, the one that turns the engineer into a robot. Probably, this one's pretty fun. Has good loadout potential for Halloween. You can mix and match with the other stuff that turns him into like parts of a robot, which is, you know, it's cute, it's fun. Because you have the Iron Lung and the Roboot as well. These are fine for a Halloween set. They're not offensive. For being Halloween restricted, it's okay. C tier? I think C tier. I think C tier for these Halloween items is okay. Kind of in the same territory as the one where they have a mini engineer driving himself around. I think that's fair. Put these all around here in the same area. They look expensive. Thankfully they're not. You can get these as contract drops during Scream Fortress. I say all around here in that territory is okay. The Roboot with the Deldozer looks fine. Yeah. Thoughts on the Bat Saber? It's... eh. It's just a lightsaber for Scout. Are these from a case? I thought they were Halloween restricted. Let me see, hold on. I have to refresh my memory. TF2, dead or alive. Are these not Halloween restricted? Oh my god, they're not. I forgot. Fuck. Why aren't these Halloween restricted? Ugh. No one uses them anyway. So that's a bonus. No one uses these anyway. These really should be Halloween restricted. I wish they were, because they changed way too much. I'll dock them a point for not being Halloween restricted. I totally forgot. God, isn't that a fucking tragedy too? Where like as soon as Valve adopted the CS:GO style item tiers for their cases, they just threw all of the necessary Halloween restrictions out of the window. Like, of course, in the past, there were some cosmetics that have no reason to be Halloween restricted, while some others absolutely must be Halloween restricted. But then they said, fuck it, barely anything gets Halloween restricted now, so even the really crazy outlandish shit that you should only be seeing during Halloween, fuck it, you can see it year round now. Oh, hate that. Hate that shit. I guess you could say the Roboot is fine year-round if you want to use it with the Gunslinger. I'll put it a little higher. It's not getting out of D tier. So, meh. Also, for some reason, the engineer is Mexican now. The engineer is Mexican. Smokey Sombrero, El Patron, and El Caballero. The engineer is Mexican. He's Mexican now. Why? I don't know. My disappointment is imperishable and my day is ruined. I think it was immeasurable. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. You look like how I imagine NG's nephew would look in a good way? Well, I'm flattered by the donation. Unrelated, a lunar lander I built. A lunar lander I built landed early this morning. It was built in Texas by a Texas company and landed on the moon on Texas Independence Day. If that's true, damn, that's really cool. Nice work. Like, if that is actually true, if you actually worked on a lunar lander and it made it to the moon today, that's wild. That takes so much. First of all, the amount of time it takes, all of the planning, all of the trial and error, all of the getting the budgets in order and the grant proposals written up and all of the damn, you know, the logistics of getting the shit you need and all of the meetings you have to do, and then finally actually getting to work on what it is the project is for, and then finally seeing it off. Just the time commitment to get something like that done. I have to applaud you. That probably took years to get that shit done. Holy God. So, congrats on getting that shit to the moon, man. If that's true, I don't know. Some people like to yank my chain. If so, very cool. That's awesome. I have to applaud you because that is a multi-man and multi-thousands of hours project in order to get that done. That's wild. Anyway, I think the set sucks. It's a poncho for the engineer because why not? It's a really mediocre gold tooth beard mustache combo that just kind of sucks. I'll put this in like lower E tier. The Smokey Sombrero doesn't look bad. It has some decent loadout potential. I'll put this one in C tier. This one's just an okay hat. Firefly Aerospace Blue. Ghost Lunar Lander landed about 3 a.m. last night. We're building 2 more for NASA. It has a plaque on the moon with my name on it as well, and as everyone who worked on it. That's fucking awesome. Dude, that's really cool. Nice work. Huge applause for you and the team getting that shit done. Big respect. Is that a cigar? It looks like a gold tooth. Does this not look like a gold fucking tooth in his mouth? That looks like a gold tooth to me. It's the embers of the cigar, but that comes off as a gold tooth. Either way, doesn't save it from looking bad. I don't like it. Back to where you belong. Back. Ew. Okay, you know, Void, be gone. Just some of the worst items ever put in this fucking game. It's just Batman shit. Except for everybody, fuck it. It's Batman's helmet, it's Batman's utility belt. Yeah, we love bitches Batman and TF2. Yeah, awesome. Fucking awful, ugly, no. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay. I gotta piss real quick. I'm gonna go piss, and I'm gonna get something to drink. I'll be right back. Give me like 5 minutes, okay? I'll be right back. Okay. We're back. We are back. Anywho, good God, guys. My chat is a fucking disaster area. Oh, Lord. Holy Christ, guys. You don't understand. I like Batman and TF2, so they have to be together. True. NG's cap's an A tier, if you're asking. It's right here. Right there. Right A tier. Right at top of A tier for the NG's cap. Alright. Shall we continue? Why does my chat love Gregnant so much? Because I deem it so. We the Chudlings. We the Chudlings. We love our Gregnants. We think they're funny. We think my calling card for my fan base and I is the pregnant man. The highest levels of absurdity are my calling card. It is the pregnant man. We agree. We agree. We agree. Comedy in motion. Shall we continue? Let's do it. We have the... Why is this called the winter backup? There we go. Why is this called the winter backup? It's a backpack. No, this is not end of the line. It's not end of the line. It's fine. It's a perfectly acceptable accessory cosmetic. It's a decent loadout filler. I'd say B tier. Kind of in the territory of the blueprints and what have you. It's decent. It's pretty good. I don't want to rate it... Oh my god, get the fuck out of the way. I don't want to rate it higher than the blueprints, but I'll put it in the same territory. It's pretty good. I like it. It's decent. And then we have the dad duds. Again, it's another example of like, that's about as far as you want to go when it comes to making a cosmetic for somebody. It's good, but if this went any further with changing things on the engineer's model, then it would go too far. But it's still really good. I'm gonna put this in A tier, but not as highly as these other ones. I think in this territory is fine. I'm gonna bump the Mutton Man a bit. Bump you up here. It kind of belongs in the same territory as all these other shirts. It's good. It's good. Sunday's best NG, so true. Okay, then we have this. We have the Corpus Christi Cranium. It's just a Day of the Dead sugar skull. For the engineer. Why? I don't know. It goes with the other Mexican cosmetics, but sure, but like, why is engineer Mexican now? Like, oh, it goes with the other Mexican cosmetics, and you have to question, why were these other Mexican cosmetics added? It's a weird fit. It is a really weird fit. Yeah, these somehow exist and are in-game. I know Texas borders Mexico, but engineer's white. I don't know how I can't put it more simply than that. It's just odd. Engineer dressing up as a guy in a sombrero and a poncho. Just it's a really strange thing to do. I just think it's weird. Corpus Christi Cranium fucking sucks. It's ugly and hideous and just needs to be removed. No one uses this. It's trade up fodder for the higher cosmetic tiers in this case. And then this is just a shittier poncho and sombrero than the other set. Like lower E tier. Both of these suck. I don't think I've ever seen these in game once. Not once. They're not good. Like, we already had this other poncho, which looks better than this one, but it's just another poncho. I don't... Why? G build 2 ponchos? Ugh. Don't I see it in real life? Not here. Listen, I've lived in South Texas my entire life, and I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've seen anybody wearing a poncho and a sombrero outside of fiesta season. Outside of citywide parties, outside of citywide celebrations, I can count the number of times I've seen someone wearing a sombrero and a poncho on one hand. Does anyone like these? Seriously, does anyone like these other than Demomans because you can make a 9/11 joke? Right? Seriously, who uses this? And who likes this? You know? It's just so dumb. An engineer riding a cardboard space shuttle. Fuck me. It's pretty bad. It's you know, it goes down here. It's just really bad. I don't like it. It sucks. All of the cardboard cosmetics, for the record, are abysmal. It's this weird, childish flanderization of the mercs, where it's like, oh yeah, you have like little cutesy wootsy woo cardboard cutout pirate beard or crown. It's like, they're not children. I don't know why we treat the mercenaries like children. That makes me really upset too. Like, they're not kids. Why are we dressing them up as kids? Why are we pretending they're like kids on Halloween going trick-or-treating? I hate that shit. These are grown-ass men shooting each other. Why? Hate that. Ugh. Packable provisions. It just... I would have preferred just a dispenser on Engineer's back than like a plush backpack dispenser. You know what I mean? Like, I would prefer this to be a piece of gear that has some kind of clear utility if the engineer were to have it on his person. Like a piece of a dispenser or something, but it's just like, I don't know, like I'd find this at Walmart. I don't like it. I don't put it's not grounds for removal, but I'm gonna put it in D tier. It's tacky. Have I ever trick-or-treated and what did I wear? I haven't gone trick-or-treating since I was like 10. I don't even remember what I wore. I think I was a Power Ranger one year. I was Scooby-Doo another year. I know I was Spider-Man at one point. I think I was an M&M? I think I was an M&M one year. That may have been my cousin. I think that was my cousin, not me. I was a lion when I was like 4. Those are the only Halloween costumes I remember. No Halloween parties? No. I'd always hang out with my family on Halloween. I've never been big on parties. Like I was never really invited to parties. I've never really been really big on parties. I just like hanging out with my family. It's way more relaxed. I don't have to like worry about looking good. I guess you don't have to worry about looking good, but I just like hanging out. I don't like going out and socializing with people I don't really know that well, you know? Just, I don't like it. It's not fun. Anyway, Reader's Choice. Don't these just rest on Engineer's nose with his goggles on? So, by extension, these are the worst for Engineer because he's wearing two sets of fucking glasses. Yeah, E, I guess, for like, in terms of just purely the visuals on Engineer, they go in E tier. Yeah, it's a perfectly fine cosmetic on anyone other than Engineer. I'll just say that. Perfectly fine on anyone other than Engineer. Okay. Then we have the Flash of Inspiration. Oh, I hate this hat. I hate it so much. It's so bad. It's so ugly. And this is elite grade. Why is this elite grade? It's so bad. Oh, it looks like he stuck his head in a corn thresher and it tried to yank his hair out. Yeah, and in-game, it makes his head so big. And can't you dye this? Can't you dye this, like, pink? Yeah, you could just dye this fucking pink. You can make Engineer look like a goddamn chia pet. I hate it. I don't want the... Make his head look like a damn aloe vera plant. I guess D tier. I don't know where to put it. I'm gonna put it in fucking D tier. I got nowhere else to put it. Engineer stuck a fork into an electrical outlet. Yeah. And then there's this. This is just, it's lame. The head-mounted double observatory. It just sucks. It does. It's not good. It's just goggles. And not much else going on. It's not even a good loadout filler. I'm gonna put it in D tier. It's just not very good. I'm gonna put it just D in this territory. Just meh. It looks like a different game. Yeah, you're right. It does look like it's a cosmetic from a different game. Just meh. It's just Mario. It's just Mario. This is just Mario's hat and mustache for the engineer. For whatever fucking reason. Is it because Mario has overalls? An engineer has his overalls? Is that the joke? They both have overalls. So I guess engineer's Mario now. It's just not even subtle. The font is the same as the M. It's just Mario's hat and mustache. It has no business being in the game. At all. No business at all being in TF2. Like everything this cosmetic represents is foul and is just a pure, perfect example of the egregious bastardization and destruction of TF2's cohesive art style and cohesive tone. Of course, we had cosmetics that came before this in the form of many promo items you can see on your screen right now. But this one is just so blatant, like the Batman ones. It's so blatant and tacky. It's just fucking Mario in TF2. It's wrong. It's so wrong. These are the tiers. I have to move things around. Actually, I'll probably just drop this to 50%. There we go. Make a little more room. There we go. It goes right in the void. Everything this hat represents. Ugh. Thankfully, breath of fresh air, we have the Aloha apparel. Genuinely like this, just, you know, simple floral print shirt. Looks really good on every class that it's for. It's just really nice. I'm gonna bring all these up. I'm gonna bring this into the bottom of A tier. It's just a really solid cosmetic. It really is. It's just really solid. It's an awesome one. 100%. I can see the engineer wearing this. 100%. I like it. Yeah, the simpler the cosmetic, the easier it is on the eyes. I mean, that's generally a good rule of thumb if you're making something for TF2. Simpler is better. The fewer the details, the better. Because TF2 was designed to not have that much detail. Because a lot of the game's visual storytelling is done through its colors and its very basic shapes and outlines. You don't need, like, TF2 was made to not have a lot of excessive detail because they didn't want to make the game too noisy and then have that take away from the gameplay, right? That was a very intentional design decision. So when you throw something into the game that has way too much detail or way too much visual noise, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and it sucks. That's why a lot of modern cosmetics look so bad or just look the way they do, because they really don't adhere to that rule. Like, it's like they could have done Jungle Inferno, right? They could have done Jungle Inferno without trying to... So it's so strange, too, because like, you have this Aztec-y undertone with Jungle Inferno, but really only... Is it Lazarus? It's really the only map that touches on the Aztec theme, right? And for some reason, they put so many Aztec-themed cosmetics in with this update. It's like they wanted it to go one way, and then they wanted it to go into a different way. I don't know what they were thinking. It's like they couldn't figure out what they wanted Jungle Inferno to be. You know? It's like, did we want this to be like Saxon Hale's facility where you can kill Yetis? Do we want this to be dinosaurs? Because Enclosure is about Jurassic Park and dinosaurs for some reason. And then we have Lazarus, which is, you know, a sacrificial temple area. Like, you could, you know, Indiana Jones style thing. It's like, I feel like if they were gonna do a general jungle theme, throwing in a whole bunch of random shit just because their settings are in a jungle is really inappropriate. Like, it needed to be a lot more cohesive, and it just wasn't. Jungle Inferno was just really, really all over the place. I wish it was more well thought out, because it wasn't. Jungle Inferno was not well thought out by any sense of the phrase at all. It was rushed, thrown out last minute, because Valve had spent the previous year desperately trying to fix TF2 after Meet Your Match. Yeah, I'm absolutely asking more questions than Valve ever did when it came to making that update. 100%. I completely agree. And people still praised it. Some people did. I will say that the more vocal minority side of the community really did praise Jungle Inferno, but there were still a lot of people that were mad about the previous year. Because, like, the game was still not in a good state. The game was not in a good state at all. The previous year had been marked by months of unplayability and the game being in a barely functional state. And then Valve decided to follow through on like, oh yeah, by the way, we promised this Pyro update, so here it is. And it's kind of half-assed and buggy and broken. Half the maps were broken, the weapons were fucked, you know? And they fixed these things here and there, but it was a disaster after 2016, and they gave up in 2018. So, Jungle Inferno had a few cool things, like the Contractor, which I wish they expanded upon more, but they just didn't. And of course, they just copied that from Counter-Strike, but whatever. This one sucks. E. Any footage of the first day of Jungle Inferno? Yeah, absolutely. Just go look on YouTube. You can go see old footage from basically any update on YouTube. It's just a frog. It's just a fucking frog. It's just a frog. It's just a seal. It's just a kitty cat inside of Engineer's pocket. And that's it. That's the joke. It's just a fucking frog. It's stupid. Trucker's Topper. Way, way better on Engineer than it is on Scout, I would say. I don't like the way the hair's modeled. I like the hat a lot. B tier? Maybe C tier? Yeah, I'll put it bottom of B. I'm gonna bump kind of all of this stuff up. I'm gonna bump all this up, bring y'all forward, and put the Trucker's Topper there. It's a fine hat. It's just not that great. It's okay, though. It's fine. Looks like Wayne from Wayne's World. Yeah, it kind of does. It actually does. Am I really over 2 meters tall? No, I'm actually, I'm only 1 meter. I'm only 1.2 meters tall. I am canonically like 3'7". That's how tall I am. I fit into most overhead storage bins. Thankfully. That's one bonus of being as short as I am, is I can fit literally anywhere. It's great. It's a wonderful existence. I live in like a Barbie playhouse. That's how small I am. Do I also stream on Twitch? YouTube player has micro stutters when I have no delay. I don't stream on Twitch. I left Twitch because I don't like Twitch. Antarctic Eyewear. I don't like this one because this just looks like the fake hair that you put over your head as a wig. It looks like a wig. I think it sucks. I don't like it. D. It's not E tier, but it's definitely D tier. I've never liked this one at all. Looks weird. Somewhere around here, I guess. Yeah, mediocre Lego hair. Yeah. Not very good. It does look the best on Scout. It does. It looks way better on the Scout. I don't think it... I disagree. I don't think it looks good on the Engineer at all. I can't type. Antarctic eyewear. I'm not a fan. Can I think it's the goggles. Can I just have the hair? Because I like the hairstyle, but I don't like the goggles. I just want the hair. If it was just the hair, I'd rate that a lot higher. Looks like a Fallout NPC. Yeah, a little bit. Brendan Fraser, dude, you're right. The Mummy, or just the Mummy Returns. Brendan Fraser in general. Man, what a glorious man he was. He is. He's a glorious man. He was fucking hot back then. He's great. Good looking dude. Then we have the cold case. Like, could I have just gotten this? Like, like the packable provisions, whatever this one. Like, can we just have had this backpack? But like an actual piece of gear? You know what I mean? That would have been better, but no, instead it's just a fridge full of beer on his back. And also the beer bottles are really big for some reason. It's just really tacky. I'm gonna put it in D tier. D tier. D for tacky. Be gone. Shell of a man, and then Dell in a shell. He's a turtle because turtle engineer. Just, I know these are Halloween restricted, right? But they're so... They're not even subtle, right? They're not even subtle. There's no charm to these at all. It's just engineer as a turtle, right? E. I'm putting these in E tier. Actually, no, I don't like these at all. They're kind of in ground. They're in grounds for deletion territory. I think they're terrible. And they don't even look like TF2 cosmetics. They look like it's a costume piece from Fortnite. I'm serious. They look like they've been stylized for a completely different game. They don't belong in TF2. They're the fucking aim assistant. It's like, yes, I love this little rubber hose sentry wind-up toy that hangs out on engineer's shoulder. And it's like this big. It's fucking tiny. This is like... awful cosmetic. It really is. It is just an awful cosmetic. It should have not been put in the game. It's pointless and soulless garbage. Yeah, now we're really entering the slop territory here. The defragmenting hard hat is a really cool idea for a game that is not Team Fortress 2. It's a really neat idea, just not for Team Fortress 2. Just, it doesn't fit the game's style or tone at all. I can't. I'm gonna say D tier. It gets a pass. It's somewhat, except the mining light's way too big here. Oop, make you smaller. There's some room here. Bottom of D tier, I suppose. Stop it. Let me click you. Bottom of D tier. Just meh. It should have been separate for it should just be for a different game in general, in my opinion. They have like a play school toy. Like, this is just a toy. Right? This is just a toy attached to the engineer. This became the standard for a while for TF2 cosmetics. Just toys attached to the mercenaries. Yeah, Mega Bloks, play school toy. Oh my god. This is void tier as well. It's just so... I'm gonna put both these fucking toys in void tier. Anything that resembles a toy, Beep Man, Beep Boy, whatever the fuck it is, all that just needs to be removed. It's garbage. And then this... Can someone explain to me purpose of a pug on his back? Oh, you wouldn't backstab a pug. You wouldn't stab a pug. Fuck you, I'm gonna backstab you anyway. It's a fucking video game. I hate this shit so much. It's so goofy and tacky. It's just like, I would have preferred the pug on his shoulder, right? the pug on his shoulder, but no, you give him like a little baby backpack, you lug him around on your back. It's so bad. Oh, what happened to this game? What happened to this game, man? Fuck. Get rid of this thing. Immediate deletion. It's so dumb. It's terrible. Yeah, you don't remember. Yeah, Engineer's iconic pug. You look at you think about the Engineer, you immediately think of pugs. Why? For what fucking reason are pugs associated with the Engineer? Like, just Master Roshi. It's just Master Roshi in TF2. It's all he is. It's just the Engineer dressed up as a character. It's not even subtle. It's just his fucking facial hair. That's it. Just Master Roshi and nothing else. God. For me, it's on the same tier as the Mario hat. It's just Engineer dressed up as Mario, but now it's Engineer as Master Roshi. Fuck. Don't add shit like this. It's like the Star Wars cosmetic. It's like the JoJo cosmetics. It's just the TF2 mercenaries, but dressed up as characters from completely different and unrelated IPs. Do not do this. I hate it. Then we have the brain interface. I just really don't like these got out of hand. In my opinion, these got out of hand, right? Once is fine. Once was fine, but once you started taking his sentry gun and turning it into hats and shoes and shirts and gloves, it got out of hand, right? It's not nearly as bad as the other slop they started adding in later years, but it became a bit much. I'll be gracious with the first one because this at least looks like a hat, right? It at least looks like a hat. So I'll put this in bottom of D tier. But then later ones that we got are just Engineer's buildings on his fucking head. We'll get to that in a minute. Just a toaster. It's just a toaster. It's just a toaster. Toaster with a brim. And it's elite grade. Just a toaster on his head. Nothing else. Tacky garbage. Tacky elite grade garbage that needs to be removed from the game. I'm sorry. All toasters toast. Indeed. This is in game? Yes. It's in TF2. Then we have the NG bird. Oop. We have the NG bird head. Compared to, say, the crow head or the blue jay for Scout, right? Compared to those two, it at least has the goggles. So like, oh yeah, it's the Engineer. But it just completely lacks all of the soul of the original bird heads. It doesn't have the voice lines. I know those had to have come from Valve, I understand that. But it lacks the voice lines. And it lacks the shape to like make it look more like the so Engineer's classic pet friend of Ein is now his head. Like you all know Ein, you know, like Engineer's known for having his pet sidekick the bird Ein on his shoulder. Now it's his head. Like that's canon. Don't you know that about the TF2 Engineer? Don't you know that? God, you're not a real fan. It's so weird how you have these little subcontexts and these little stories that are only spun by cosmetics that were added years after the game's release, right? Like this cosmetic makes no sense to anybody unless you remember the shitty little bird cosmetic that was added like 5 years ago, right? I'm gonna jump ahead to this one because it's relevant now more than ever. And then you had this one, which just turns his head into a pug. Yes, Engineer's iconic pug pet, but now it's his fucking head. Why? It's, you know, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like these cosmetics make no sense, and they're referencing other cosmetics that already made no sense and had no roots or bearing to the actual tones, themes, and stylization of the fucking game. It's so stupid. Now this does need its own tier. It's down. I'm gonna cast it below. Cast it down into the fire. And then the bird head, it's not as bad as the other more modern bird heads. I'll put it in D. But, good God, that fucking pug head is terrible. And then it wouldn't be engineer with yet another sombrero mustache combo. We have 3 of these. We have 3 of these in the game. Really? The references aside, just because it's okay, listen. Just because something is a reference does not automatically make it appropriate for the game, right? That's a main thing people need to remember. Just because it references something, it doesn't mean it's automatically appropriate. Just, And the stylization of this one is just really mediocre. I don't like this at all. I'm gonna put it in E tier. Put you down here with the other sombrero shit. It is also very poorly stylized. We're really entering the slop here. Like, isn't the point of this? Like, it's meant to be carrot on a stick, right? It's meant to be carrot on a stick, leading you along. Is the joke that they're chasing the spy that's in front of them and they're trying to kill the spy? Or is it like because he's in front of you and then he's gonna go back and double back and trick stab you? It's like, what's the joke here? This one's for Pyro and Engineer. It's for Pyro and Engineer. This is not Halloween restricted. Not to my knowledge, it's not. It's also just another really bad and tacky, shitty cosmetic. It just does not need to be in the game. Okay, so here we go. I like this one way more than the backpack, the provisions cap. At least a little bit more thought went into this one. It's not just the dispenser on his head. It's still not great. It's still tacky, but it's at least not as unbearable as just the fucking teleporter on his head, or just the mini sentry on his head, right? These are just the buildings on top of Engineer's head. At least the dispenser one has been stylized into a hat. I can at least argue for it because it's been stylized into a hat, right? I'll put the provisions cap in D tier. It's passable. But these other two are just Engineer's buildings on his fucking head. It's like, fuck it. Teleporter. Oh, it's got jiggle bones. Fuck you. Get out of here. You suck. You're so lame. So unbelievably lame. You're right, the Mini Sentry one would look so much better if it was just the helmet with the Mini Sentry pattern, but no, they had to go the extra mile and put the fucking sentry on top. It could have just been a helmet, but no! I have to put the damn sentry on there too. Fuck me. God. Okay. We have a little reprieve. We have the Sophisticated Smoker. One of the best multi-class items we've seen in a long time. That's meeting a low bar because the past 6 years of cosmetics have been mostly terrible. But this one's just good. Mustache cigar, you know, I forget the style of hat this is called, but it's just good. You know, it's not amazing. It's just good. I'm gonna put it in for Engineer. I think it looks the weakest on Engineer. I'll put it in B tier. It's still good. But it's a bowler hat, thank you. But it's definitely the weakest on Engineer, 100%. But still a good cosmetic. Wake me up. Get me out of this. Wake me from this everlasting nightmare. Please. Wake me up. Don't like this cosmetic at all. I don't like it. Makes me sad. Hat mustache combos are dumb. They should be separate. I kind of disagree. I think nowadays, I have to give an excuse because nowadays, like, things have just gotten so bad and the game is so overly saturated with shit. Some liberties are needed so things don't get super repetitive. I do agree, but you have to give a little leeway just because of how far along we are. A little bit. I'm not saying break the art style, but hat mustache combos are at the bottom of the list of things you should be offended at. You should be way more offended at shit like this. And because of everything this cosmetic represents. It's going down there. It is pretty immature. It's immature and it's not the right type of humor for TF2. I don't know, man. It's okay. It's just, it as a standalone Halloween cosmetic, it's not offensive. It's a monster inside of his toolkit. I mean, compared to things that I just don't like looking at. I don't know. D. I'm just so indifferent about this one. I guess D tier, somewhere down here. I'm really indifferent. Great concept, but you can't make it look good as a cosmetic. Yeah, I suppose so. Then we have this crime. Right? If you should, this is why I don't like the fat cosmetics. I don't like the fat cosmetics because if you change the facial structure, of the mercenary, this is something that should not be available year-round. This should not be available. What is wrong with you guys? Why do you see a goblin and then immediately think of Jews? What the fuck? Stop it. You guys need to chill the fuck out. That's a self-report if I've ever seen one. That's a self-report if I've ever seen one. Holy moly. As I was saying, anything that changes the facial structure of the mercenary absolutely needs to be Halloween restricted. This is not something you should be able to wear year-round. And I don't think this one's Halloween restricted. It really should be. Make the Void Mimi Sentry. No, I like Mimi Sentry. Fuck you. I'm not making Mimi Sentry the Void. But the Goblin one is the Void. This is not something that should be available year-round. It really shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be. Is it Halloween restricted? Let me check. Either way, I don't like it. No, it's not Halloween restricted. You can wear this shit year-round. Fuck. No, it's not Halloween restricted. Jesus. So, yeah, it remains in deletion tier. We did the fucking pug head. Now we have the Wavefinder. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. What else is there to say? It's too much shit. And it's tacky. It's tacky, it's overdone. Nah. E, honestly, E tier. Tacky and overdone. Yeah, it's also out of place. As the kids say, no, it's below mid. As the kids say, it's below mid. And yeah, it's animated, so it's even more noise on the engineer's head. They should have stopped at the Industrial Festivizer. They really should have. The Industrial Festivizer was the only Christmas hat for the engineer they ever needed. They never needed to make another one. and then someone squirted this out, put it on the workshop, and got paid for it. I have never once seen that item in game. I have never once seen someone wear that fucking hard hat. Not once. Not once. I've seen far more particulate protectors. You know where this goes. Go away. Go away with this shit. Everything this cosmetic represents has no business being in the game. Not gonna repeat myself again, but you know why. NG needs more 1930s era railroad cosmetics. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. The big box. It's just a big box protruding from his head. It's a VR headset. But it's like the engineer, it's like a sentry gun. Get it? It's at least not just like the front of the sentry on his face. And the fact they had to make it a shitty PogChamp. E. Put an E tier. It's not as bad as just the sentry on his head, but it's still pretty bad. Then we have this piece of shit. It's just a cartoon robot head. Fuck it, why not? This is Halloween restricted. But it shouldn't be in the fucking game. It's so dumb and tacky. Yeah, it just takes the Beep Man and goes way far beyond anything where it needs to go. It's so bad. Fortnite, yes, Fortnite. Say it with me, class. Fortnite, be gone. Isn't this great? We started out so strong. We started out so strong on this fucking tier list. We had so many good cosmetics, but you guys see this, right? Every time we do these, there is a rapid and sharp decline in the quality and the tonal appropriateness of cosmetics. Every time we do this, shit just goes way downhill. And it's not gonna get any better. We have even more shit to go through. We're not done yet. NG's definitely had it worse with newer cosmetics. Alright, what's next? We have the hook, line, and thinker. It's just his brain being exposed by a fishhook. Like the other brain cosmetic, I don't like looking at it. It's gross. Nasty. I don't like thinking about it. I don't wanna think. I'm gonna pretend this hat does not exist. It's nasty. Have the fucking train of thought. 2021 was rock bottom for TF2. This was rock fucking bottom. Pretty sure this is 2020. I'm pretty sure this was 2021. This was rock bottom for TF2 cosmetics. It's just a toy on his... This is a hat. It's just a toy on his fucking head. It's so bad. So bad. Absolutely zero redeeming qualities. None whatsoever. None. It's truly a goddamn tragedy. It's like adding insult to injury, right? Because it's the train from Whatville, but miniaturized and put on Engineer's head. It's like this is the biggest middle finger you could give to any die-hard fan of TF2 who loved the game for its art style, its stylization, its tone, who loved all of these aspects of TF2. This is taking all of that and taking a big, fat, hot shit all over it. That was 2021. A big, fat, hot shit over everything this game was made to represent and everything this game stood for. This fucking toy is just the perfect encapsulation of every wrongdoing on Valve's part when it came to handling this game, minus the matchmaking system. God. It's horrible. Lower, just like down here somewhere. Go away. Just, I don't want to know you. I'm just gonna pretend you don't exist. Put that shit on another file alone. That is a great idea. Put you, file, new. Done. Done. AIDS. Okay. Now we have the lawn maker. We have a complete 180 because guess what happened when people started bitching about the shitty hats? We started getting better hats. Man, it's almost as if though the consumers have power over what the developer does with the fucking game. So as soon as we started talking about the shitty hats, Valve was like, oh, we should probably course correct and stop putting as many shitty hats in the game. We started getting some better ones. Lawnmower NG, it's fine. It's okay. It's not amazing, but it's acceptable. I don't, you know, low B, I kind of akin it to the trucker's topper. It's just okay. Low B tier for it. It's fine. And then we have the Western wrap. Ooh, did that again. We have the Western wraps. This one's pretty fucking cool. Again, this one pushes the line with, it's almost too much detail. It's almost too much detail, but it skirts that line and it's fine. It skirts the line, but it's fine. It looks really good. It's a kick-ass jacket. I love this one. It is almost too much detail, but in my opinion, it skirts the line in a healthy way. B tier, you know, I would say on par with these other shirts. You know, the shirt territory. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. Halloween is somehow not exempt from the tackiness. I wish it was. Halloween is, like, I know people want Scream Fortress to be like, oh, it's fine to have the tacky stuff, which I loosely agree. But at a certain point, you have to question, is this okay? Is this fine? To have a game cabinet as a head replacement on the Engineer. Is this okay? In my opinion, it's not okay. This is just a worse, tackier Beep Man. Do I play TF2 often? Yeah, probably a few times a week. It's just, it's so bad. It's so bad. Has no business, even as a Halloween restricted item, it has no business being in the game. It's terrible. Sure, I guess it would have made more sense as a backpack cosmetic, but even then, it shouldn't even be a backpack cosmetic. It's a fucking game cabinet. Game cabinets weren't a thing until the 80s. Video games in general were not a widespread thing until the 80s, but fuck it, put them in TF2, why not? Oh, they put other things in TF2 that don't fit with the timeline. Fuck you! These things stick out like shit! Does this look like a TF2 hat to you? To me, it doesn't. The modeling is completely off. And it's mostly the skull. The skull is not the right type of stylization for TF2 at all. If it didn't have the skull, I'd like this a lot more. But it has the shitty skull. Sucks. This was also part of a set. The other parts of the set were not added, which sucks. The whole set wasn't that great to begin with, but the hat would be way better if it didn't have the skull. If it didn't have the skull, you know, probably C or B tier territory, but because it has the skull, it looks like crap. I'm gonna put an E. Could they made the skull a little medallion or something instead of being detailed like that? Yeah, probably, or or even like a pin or like a flat badge on the head, like a cow skull with the horns. But the skull takes up way too much visual real estate, and it's just not appropriately modeled or stylized for TF2 at all. The Morgun Marshall, I think I would have liked this hat a lot more if they also didn't try to make it look like a sentry gun. If this had just been another cowboy hat, I would have been totally fine. But the fact they try to make it look like it's a cowboy hat, but also it doesn't get the combination right. The concept is okay, but the execution leaves something to be desired. Where like the brim looks good and the bandana looks good, but the top part is just the sentry. And I dislike that. I wish it was just more. They could have just made this a hat. If this was really just a good hat, then it'd be fine. But I just don't like. And they have like other styles where like you have it look like where it looks like a mini sentry and what have you. Thing is, I shouldn't have to paint a hat in order for it to look good. You feel me? It's not offensive, but I think the execution is a bit mediocre. I don't know. I'll put it in C tier, kind of around here. It's okay. Yes, it's Halloween restricted, but it just goes too far. It really does. It crosses a line that just should not be crossed in TF2, where it's just too, like, even for a Halloween cosmetic, it's just too much. It's just too much. It's almost grounds for void, but I'm gonna put it down here. Then we have the Arctic Mole and the Underminer's Overcoat. These look pretty fucking cool. I love these cosmetics. This is a really, really sleek set. I think the goggles are cool. Yeah, it's a reference to the Underminer from The Incredibles. That's the joke, you know. But the thing is, this is how you know a reference is being handled well, where even without the context of the reference, this still looks like something the engineer would wear. Right? That's how you know that it fits rather well. Also Atlantis. Like Underminer, and then you have the guy from... No, it's not quite... what's his name? The French guy who digs in the mud in Atlantis. I forget his name. It's closer. It's close-ish to his character, too. What's his fucking name? His name's just Mole. They just call him Mole, right? Yeah, they just call him Mole. God, I love that movie. I gotta watch that again. I fucking love Atlantis. It's so good. The second one was abysmal, but that movie is a very much a hidden gem in animation. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous movie. It's a cool story. Really iconic and recognizable character and lovable characters. It's just, oh, it's awesome. Such a good movie. Yeah, they made a second one. It's really bad. It's really bad. Don't watch it. Like, please, if you've seen the first Atlantis, don't go watch the second one. And please, God, Disney, yeah, don't make this like, okay. Making something live action doesn't make it inherently bad, right? There's a way to do it where the movie can be really cool. And Disney, in the past, the very distant past, has made purely live action stories that are phenomenal. Like Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh my god, I love those movies. The first three. The first three Pirates of the Caribbean movies are so good. Easily. Like, I know I'm probably blowing this out of proportion, but the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are like some of the best action, like, you know, action adventure movies ever done. They're so fun and they're so good. God, I love the original three. The ones that came after are very hit and miss, but the first three Pirates of the Caribbean are so good. Like, if they went in with that level of care into making, say, a live-action Atlantis movie, they could pull it off. But that Disney is long gone. Long in the distant past, right? Way in the distant past. You could not get something like that out of Disney these days. 2006 Disney? Yeah, they could do it. 2025 Disney? No, sir. Anyway, I like these. I'm gonna put them in B tier. Both are B tier. They're cool hats. They're cool cosmetics. I like them. The coat mixes and matches reasonably well with a few things. The hat's not quite so standalone, but they're both pretty cool. I like them. Then we have the hazard handler and the cargo constructor. These cross the line. If you want an example of doing too much, here's your example. Here's your answer. These went too far. These have way too much detail, way too many different colors on here. It just throws way too much visual noise on the engineer. And this fucking area down here, for some reason, is paintable. Why is this paintable? Like, sure, conceptually and the theming is totally fine, but there's just way too much going on. Way too much going on. The helmet is fine. I will say that. The helmet is fine. Helmet's fine. I'll put this in, say, C tier, right? This is okay. But this is way too much. Way too much going on his body. It was harder to do, and I tried doing it to, like, fool people with team recognition, and I did manage to trick a few people. But this has to go with other very specific cosmetics in order to trick people. You gotta get them at just the right angle, but you can fool people with this one because of the paint region and being able to combine it with other cosmetics to fuck with people. So, it just throws too much on the model, man. It does. How do people fall for it? You have to remember that TF2 is free to play, and there is a constant flux of new people in and out of the game. TF2's visuals were so meticulously designed that no matter what situation you're in, you're gonna be able to tell what team someone is on at a fucking glance, in a fraction of a second, right? And there are so many cosmetics in the game that detract from that. It's not good. And so if you're completely new to the game, and you have the loose understanding like, oh yeah, I'm on blue team, I need to shoot at red guys. And then you're presented with this visual mess of orange and silver and then blue or pink or green, you know, with a gun with a green particle effect on it. You know, to a new player, they're gonna look at that and go, whoa, what the fuck? Is that on my team? Is he on the other team? And then they're not gonna know until they shoot at it or until they shoot at him, which is not how it's supposed to go in TF2. You're supposed to know what team someone is on before either person engages. Otherwise, that defeats the purpose of team recognition. Ugh. Here comes my line. As the concept artist, I never wanted the paint region. I'm sorry for that. You guys need... Yeah, so Arter worked on this one, and he vouched for not having a paint region, but he got vetoed, and they put a paint region, so fuck. The cranium cooler, I consider this safe slop. I know it's slop, but I like this one. This is the one you have to let me have, alright? This is the one you have to let me have. Because I like this one. I know it's bias. I know there's absolutely zero reason or justification for me supporting this hat, but I just like this one. Every one of my tier lists, I have to give one for myself. This is the one I give to me. I'm putting it in at least C tier, alright? I'm putting it in at least C tier. This is my own choice. It's mine. And I'm sticking to it. Alright, I'm sticking to it. You will not convince me otherwise. Then we have the cool, warm sweater and the soft, hard hat. So, this would have been okay for the shirt if it was the sweater underneath the overalls. I would have liked that a lot more instead of the entire thing being the sweater. You know what I mean? And then I also would have liked the beanie a lot more if it was still, like, say, a miner's light or a headlamp, but on top of a beanie. I would have liked that a lot more. But the fact the entire thing is knitted sucks. And see, I don't like the argument of like, oh, there's a style for it. I don't like that. It's just the way it should be by default. I don't like the argument of like, oh yeah, we can let this cosmetic have 6 different styles, so the one style that's appropriate for the game can be buried underneath 5 other styles that fucking suck. I hate that shit. So, I don't know. they're in general they're inoffensive, right? I'm not seething about these. I'll put them in D tier. They both kind of suck, but they're not grounds for removal, right? They're not grounds for removal. Let's see. Then Engineers is Math Blaster. Engineer is now Math Blaster. That's the first thing I think of. Did y'all play Math Blaster? I did. I loved Math Blaster. It sucks. These cosmetics suck, but it makes me think of Math Blaster. Am I really that old that no one remembers Math Blaster? Please don't tell me that. No one played this. No one played Math Blaster. No one played this. Nobody. It makes me sad. Oh, am I that old? Oh. Everyone's saying no. Man, this was the shit. This was the shit when I was growing up. Oh, it makes me. I think this is the first time that I've asked my chat if they've ever seen this before, and no one has seen this. Or like the overwhelming majority of people have not seen this. This is not it just like, I loved this shit. I loved Math Blaster. It was so fun. See, there was also like maybe was there? I think there was Math Blaster 3D. Oh no, this one was really bad. Oh god, this one was a crime. This one was a tragedy. Why did they do this? Ew. Ew. Oh, it's so gross. It's it has that really uncanny early 2000s 3D animation vibe to it, where they just couldn't really figure out how to make it look good yet. So here you go. Oh my lord. Ugh. When did this release? Oh, we have the Math Blaster learning system. Was it 98 when that came out? There's no way that was 98. There's no way it was 98. No way it was fucking 1998. Oh my god. I'm old. Shit. 1990 fucking 8, dude. Oh my god. I was playing that when I was a kid. It doesn't hold up now. It's not a good game these days. Anyways, Math Blaster Engineer. E. These suck. These just shouldn't be in the game. Like, if these were Halloween restricted, fine, but the fact they're not is a crime. So, E. E tier for both of these. Just, no. Why is Engineer a superhero? Fuck it. Why not delete what saves them? They're not as egregiously ugly or tacky as anything down here. Chex Quest better? That was a good one too, but I liked Math Blaster. God, I barely remember Chex Quest. I barely for fucking cereal, right? Like think about that, right? Fucking they made a game about cereal. Yes, it was a game based on Chex, the cereal. And it was really fun. The Hot Wheels racing games from cereal, like one of the best cereal box games was that Starsky and Hutch game that I played with my friend when I went to Budapest. That game was fucking great. That's probably one of the best cereal box games ever done. Was the Starsky and Hutch game. It's like, you got that in a fucking cereal box, dude. For free. You got that shit for free with your breakfast cereal. It was so cool. Man. Anyway, we're almost done. We got a few more to go here. We have the Clue hairdo. Pretty slick hair for the engineer. It's just good. You know, it's just good. You know, solid mid to upper B tier for hair. It's a nice one. It's good. And then we have the sleuth suit. Personally, I don't like the untucked jacket going all the way down to his knees. If this was a shorter jacket that ended at his waist, I think this would have looked a lot better. The untucked shirt is fine and the tie is fine, the colors are fine. I just don't like how long the overcoat is. Other than that, it is a really nice coat. It is pretty fucking cool. I'll say B tier for this one as well. You know, in this territory, it's pretty nice. Then we have this crime against humanity. Why is the image so small? The big star, you know, like Evel Knievel engineer, and then the helmet to go along with it. The modeling work on this one, the texturing work on this one, the colors on this one, every single thing about this cosmetic falls short, and it's just ugly. It is just ugly. There's zero redeeming qualities for it. It's grounds for deletion. The helmet is okay. I like the details on it. It's not too overbaked. Almost a little bit. You probably didn't need the chin straps. You could have gotten rid of the chin straps or the rivets on the brim. You know, like one or two small details you could have done away with, but otherwise it's fine. Definition of C tier, yeah, I think I agree. It is definition of just really middle of the road C tier. It's fine. And then the desk engineer, you know, it's okay. Just a shirt and tie. Simple. You can mix and match it with a bunch of stuff. It's just okay. Another, like, you know, low B tier, high C tier shirt. Probably like around here, I'd say. It's okay. It's aight. It's aight. Oh god, I know about the stupid fucking flags. I know. Trust me. I know. Oy. I know. And then we have the contaminated carryall and the Manhattan Protect. Bulky? The helmet was bulky? The fact that it makes the engineer's upper part of his body just like this big clunky box, it just doesn't look very good. The backpack is okay. It's a serviceable slot filler, I guess. I guess you can mix and match with a couple of things. That's D tier, but the hazmat helmet's like E. It's just way too bulky and big. I don't like it. And then we have the Dell Dozer. This one's a bit much. Was this one not Halloween restricted? I don't remember. I don't think this one's Halloween restricted. It probably should be. It changes a little bit too much. It's a little extreme. If I'm remembering correctly, they either adjusted or removed the paint region? I think they did. No, I have the nuclear vest. It's coming, don't worry. I'm just going in the order in which the pictures are saved. I don't know. If this was a Halloween restricted thing, I'd be more okay with it, but the fact it's not, I'm gonna put it in D tier. Yeah, it used to be paintable. It was on the workshop, but then they listened to feedback, and then they released it as not paintable, which I thank them for. And then here's the rest of the hazmat set. It's a cool shirt, I guess. I don't like I don't know, it's just... It's another just, you know, inoffensive, but not much to shake a stick at. Nothing to shake a stick at cosmetic. D tier as well. Just meh. And then the last two, I forgot these. I just forgot everything they added in winter. This is a set. It's kind of gaudy. Well, it's not kind of. It is gaudy. It's a little much. The Holstein cowl pattern with the patterned shirt and all the extra details. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it is indeed a Flanderization moment. It looks like Woody from Toy Story. It's too much. It is too much. It's tacky. And I think there are different styles to this one, but again, that doesn't excuse having the main style being front and center and being too much. You know, it's like you shouldn't have to slip in the more reserved styles. The reserved styles should just be the default. So, I don't know. Bottom of D tier? I've ran out of room, so I'll have to stick them out here, but I'll put them bottom of D tier. Just out here. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. That is our engineer tier list. That's everything. No, trust me, I went, this is all the engineer shit. 183 cosmetics in general. 183 cosmetics. Yeah, engineer has quite a few stinkers. This is definitely bottom heavy on the curve. Definitely high tier skewed. Engineer's good hats are really good, but his bad hats are really bad. Really bad. Oh, but that's it. There you go. That's the tier list. And because I forgot to record this, I don't have to say goodbye to YouTube because I'm gonna have to download the VOD and then cut it up and then put it on YouTube. So getting the VOD out for this one's gonna take a bit longer. I'm sorry. I apologize. It might take an extra day or two. Oopsie. Sorry. Anyway, that's the tier list. Pyro is last. And then all class. But Pyro is last and then all class. So. Oh yeah, okay, I forgot. Weight loss tips, because someone asked me at the beginning of the stream. And I asked them to wait. And if they did wait, I appreciate you waiting. You didn't have, they could have left and came back, but appreciate that. Yeah, so weight loss tips. So the most simple thing about losing weight is how much are you eating. It always boils down to how many calories you're putting in and how many calories are going out. If you're eating more calories than you're burning, you're gonna gain weight. The way to lose weight is to eat fewer calories than you burn. You put yourself into a calorie deficit. That's step number one. That's step number one, right? So for instance, the normal base metabolic rate for an adult man is about 2,000 calories a day. If you're eating less than 2,000 calories a day, you're gonna lose weight, right? And it doesn't have to be a massive deficit. It can be like 100 calories a day, right? But of course, your base metabolic rate changes based on your activity level and how much you exercise, right? If you have more muscle mass, if you have, or if you exercise often, then that number goes up, right? So for someone like me, who's bigger, right? I'm just by default a bigger dude. So my base metabolic rate without calories, and also age is a factor as well. Your metabolic rate goes down as you get older, right? So my metabolic rate is higher simply because I'm a bigger dude. So even without exercise, my body just burns more calories than a small person does, right? So for me, on my own, without exercise, I need about 2,500 calories a day. Probably in that range. Over 2,000, right? Over 2,000. Can you burn more calories than you eat? No, that is physically impossible to burn more calories than you eat. It cannot be done. You would have to be literally killing yourself with exercise to burn enough to burn more calories. You would die. Like, you would die if you did that, right? The main thing is to put yourself into a calorie deficit, right? Don't think about burning calories when it comes to losing weight. Burning calories with exercise is not the way to lose weight. It helps because exercise helps your metabolism. It helps you build muscle, right? And when you have more muscle growth and more muscle, having more muscle mass increases your metabolic rate, so you just burn more calories naturally without having to exercise more, right? And also, if you have cardio, that it just improves your health in general. You know, cardiovascular health, that improves your metabolism. Overall, like, generally, exercise is something you want to strive for. It's very important. Just in general. But when it comes to calorie burning, it's all about the calorie deficit, right? But something else people tend to ignore is what you put in your body, right? Of course, you can put yourself into a calorie deficit, and you can eat nothing but garbage. You could eat nothing but Twinkies. You could eat nothing but fast food. But so long as you are in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose the weight. but that's really not the healthiest way to lose the weight, because you're still putting your body through the grinder by not giving it nutritious, healthy food. And you'll probably make yourself sick if you do that, so don't do it that way. Best way to lose weight is controlling your diet, how much goes in versus how much you burn, and also the quality and types of food that you eat, right? You want to stick with fresh foods, fresh meats, fresh vegetables, you know, whole grains, that kind of thing. Like rice is good. Avoid processed foods like the plague, because they're generally hideously unhealthy, are loaded with sugar, and have other like hyper processed chemicals in them that are just not good for your body, right? And see, it's very hard, at least in America, to avoid shitty hyper processed food, right? It's hard to avoid it, but you can. And if you're poor, there are absolutely ways to get cheap, not processed food. Do what I do. Go to your grocery stores early in the morning at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., right? That's when they're cycling out all of the stuff from the previous day that's about to expire. You know, all of the fresh meat, all of the vegetables, stuff that's still perfectly fine to eat, but because its shelf life, its shelf date is about to pass, they have to legally get rid of it, right? Because of food regulations, right? So go to the store early and get all that shit for half off. 50% off, 60% off, because they want to get rid of it. They don't want to keep it, otherwise it's going to be dumped out back. They want to make money off of it. So go to your stores early in the morning. Best way to get your meat is when that shit's discounted. You're not eating like you're at the Ritz, right? You're getting cheap cuts of steak, you're getting cheap chicken, but it's still whole fresh food that you can work with to make tasty, and you can make good meals out of it without poisoning yourself with hyper-processed food, right? And no, certain vegetables are very cheap, you know? Don't get like organic, you know, non-GMO carrots for like 12 bucks a bunch. Just get fucking shitty normal carrots, right? You get a whole big ass bag for like $3, you know? And don't forget to freeze. Buy a bunch of stuff cheap in bulk and then freeze it, and then thaw it out as you need to, right? Then you can keep making fresh meals through the week. It's a good idea. Yeah, fruit tends to be a lot more expensive than vegetables. Fruit, okay, so there's also a common misconception that fruit is healthy. So fruit has a lot of very good vitamins and minerals, but fruit also has a lot of natural sugar. Lots of natural sugar. Like, you should not replace whole food groups with just fruit, because then you're putting a lot more sugar in your body. Yes, it's healthier than, say, the sugar in candy or in processed food, but don't overdo it. Like, eating a fruit salad for lunch is probably not a good idea. But like, a piece of fruit a day is perfectly fine. You're getting the extra micronutrients, you know, the little bit of sugar is fine. You know, but just don't have like shitloads of fruit all the time. It's not good for you. Because of the sugar intake, right? Would I say freshly baked stuff like sausage, bread, rolls, or flan? I mean, yeah, so long as it's all fresh ingredients, it's way better than any kind of processed food you're gonna find. 100%. What else? Yeah, so when it comes, okay, some of the thoughts on protein. So protein intake depends on what your goals are. If it's just about losing weight, you really don't need to care too much about your protein intake, but if you're trying to build muscle and gain weight, you gotta fuel your body with enough protein in order to build muscle, right? You gotta do it. Starving yourself will kill you. Don't. If you starve yourself, you're gonna be developing a very unhealthy relationship with food. Don't do that. Just be more mindful of what you eat and how much. Don't make it an obsession. Don't like hyper fixate on like completely avoiding food groups. Like, for example, the fastest way to failure is by completely cutting out your vices. Like, if you like eating a little bit of chocolate here and there, or if you like ice cream, right? Cutting that out completely is a recipe for disaster, because you're still gonna crave it, and it's gonna make the initial entry into your diet a lot harder. You can still have a little bit, just eat less. Have less of it, right? Yeah, going cold turkey is not smart. Some people can do it, right? Some people do it, some people get away with it, but most people have a very, very hard time. A very, very hard time going cold turkey on things. So, it's the phrase everyone uses, everything in moderation is very important, right? Everything in moderation. And then, okay, so don't eat one giant meal a day. Now we're getting into things that are a bit more subjective, right? A bit more subjective. So some people do intermittent fasting and they have one large meal a day and maybe one or two snacks. And these guys, because of their exercise routines, are fucking jacked. They're like really lean and they're fine. But generally, you want to, at least this is my advice, and this is of course my own personal routine that works for me. But you generally want to put the majority of your calories earlier in the day when your metabolism is going a lot faster. If you eat a lot of food later on in the day, your metabolism slows down. And if you eat closer to when you go to bed, your body's gonna have a little bit of a harder time processing that food and digesting it, so it could lead to a little bit of weight gain. But it's not like this, like if you eat a meal before bed, you're guaranteed to get fat. That's not true. You know, it doesn't help, but it helps to eat earlier in the day when your metabolic rate's actually gonna be burning these calories and using them throughout the day, right? So ideally, dinner should not be your biggest meal of the day. Really, it should be, you know, breakfast or lunch. What carbs do I recommend? I mean, anything fresh, you know, fresh rice, potatoes are pretty good. I usually stick with rice. I stick with rice, mostly. Freshly baked breads are perfectly fine. Just avoid the processed stuff with the insane shelf life. That's not good for you at all. Like fresh pastas are fine, but they're very, very heavy and really carb dense. I would avoid pasta in general. If you have to have pasta, have a very small serving with your protein. Like don't go too hard on the pasta. Do I eat between lunch and dinner? Very rarely. I'm not a snack guy. I'm really much a 3 square meals kind of guy. I have breakfast and I usually have a fairly light lunch. I usually have a protein shake and a protein bar before and after my workout, like a protein bar before and then a protein shake afterwards. And then dinner tends to be a bigger meal for me, but it's not my biggest meal of the day. Breakfast is usually my biggest meal of the day. But that's what works for me. Everyone's gonna be different. Do I have those surges of hunger sometimes? No. My body is fairly used to it's fairly used to when I eat and how much I eat. Like if I'm hungry, then I know that I have not consumed enough food. Like I'm not hungry because I want to eat in excess. I'm hungry because I have not fed my body enough from my exercise routine or just what I need, right? That's where I've put myself in now. Like I don't really crave anything like I used to. When I was younger and when I first started exercising, I had cravings to high hell. But because I put myself on a very moderated diet where I controlled how much I ate, I eventually weaned myself off of these, I guess you could say, soft dependencies on sugar or soda. I don't even drink soda anymore because it's just it's so sweet to me now. Ugh. Also, it's terrible for you. Also, #1 weight loss tip: if anything, if you want to lose weight and you drink soda, stop drinking soda. Go to diet. Go to sparkling water. Just the calorie deficit alone from not drinking soda or sugary juices or sugary drinks or energy drinks, that alone, you're gonna feel better, you're gonna sleep better, and you'll immediately lose weight. Because you're not drinking shitloads of salt and sugar. So. Most important tip, have cheat days. Cheat days work for some people. I personally don't like cheat days because I feel like if you're depriving yourself for X amount of days, it makes sticking to a diet pretty hard, right? Because like technically, if you're really caring about, say, building muscle, you should avoid alcohol altogether, right? But I like beer. I like having a beer at the end of the day, so I allow myself to have a beer at the end of the day. Like I don't have a cheat day with my alcohol or a cheat day with like my sweets, right? I just moderate how much I consume, right? You moderate how much you consume. It's gonna have very little to no negative impact on your health, right? Yeah. And yes, I do go to the gym. I recently started going, and well, not recently. I started going last year in October, and it's been good. I try to go to the gym 4 days a week. I do 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days, and then I have 2 days of cardio. So I exercise 6 days a week, and then I have a rest day on Sunday. So I do upper, run, lower is my routine. And that's what works for me. Like I'm not trying to get like super jacked or anything, but it's helping me build muscle now. Like I have more definition, which is great. And I've gained weight, which is my goal too. I used to be way too thin. but I did gain a lot of weight, so I'm pretty happy about that. So, don't you get hurt? No, not really. If you're careful about your form, if you're careful with your form, you're not gonna get hurt at the gym. You just have to be very careful with how you initially, like don't load up with too much weight. Like if you're first going to a gym, don't load up on the weight. You know, if you're, pain is not gained. That's no, that's bad, no. If you feel pain when you're exercising, stop. Pain is your body telling you that something is wrong. There's a difference between muscle soreness and being in pain. If you feel pain, immediately stop, because you're just gonna make it worse if you force yourself through it. It's a terrible idea. But yeah. So if you're first going to the gym, don't overdo it on the weight. Focus on your form first, because you want good form. If you have good form, you're not gonna get hurt. And then you eventually and gradually load up on the weight, and that's how you get stronger, right? And if you want to learn exercises and what have you, YouTube is an amazing resource. You can learn a bunch of different exercises based on what you want to achieve. You want to get bigger arms or a bigger chest or, visible abs, just be a bit mindful as to the content you consume on YouTube and from like fitness influencers, because there's a lot of them out there that spew bullshit. Be careful. Try to get your information from as many sources as you can, lest you be led down, say, the Liver King path. Avoid the crazy outlandish shit. Generally, if you're eating a healthy diet, if you're getting exercise a few days a week, and you're limiting the junk you consume, you're probably gonna start losing weight, right? You're probably gonna start losing weight. And don't overdo it at the start. Like, don't overdo it and be patient. Like, a healthy amount of weight loss is about 1 to 1.5 pounds a week. If that much, right? That's if you're really trying to lose weight, right? You're losing 5-6 pounds a month. Maybe a little bit more. Don't rush it. If you rush it, you're gonna put that pressure on yourself, and then you're not gonna meet your goals. Like, oh, I didn't lose 10 pounds this week. That's not how it works. It's very slow, unless you're doing it in the worst way possible, right? Yeah, not eating junk food and just getting out for like a walk every day or even every other day is more than what most people do for exercise, at least in America, right? So, highly recommend light exercise, a better diet. Any non-meat proteins I'd recommend? None really come to mind because I eat meat. Beans is one. Nuts has a decent amount. Well, yeah, lentils has a lot. Tofu, if you don't mind consuming soybean stuff. Milk is pretty good. I'm assuming that if you're asking for vegetarian or vegan options, you're trying to avoid animal protein altogether, so milk and eggs are out of the question. Protein shake brand, there's so many. I mean, really, you just gotta look at what kind of protein's in them. Like whey protein isolate is the type that I drink, and it's about, what kind of flavor you want, or there's a bunch. Just avoid the ones that have like the shitty added sugars and what have you. So, last donation, how would you change the Iron Lung / Dell Dozer to make it S or A tier? What would I do? Make it Halloween restricted. That's about it. I would make it Halloween restricted. That's about it. It's just not a concept that can exist as something that should be available year-round, in my opinion. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to bulk. I'm just trying to gain a little bit of muscle mass. That's all I'm doing. Take Ozempic? The problem with Ozempic and these other shots they're giving people is that they don't teach good habits. You're gonna lose the weight. But the problem is that as soon as you go off Ozempic, you stop taking these things, the weight is immediately gonna come back on. Because you didn't build the habits that lost the weight, you took the easy way out. Right? Because you're just immediately gonna go back to piling on the food and going back to your diet and what have you. And also, we don't I'm not a doctor, so don't listen to me, but we also don't know the long-term side effects to these things yet. And in my opinion, it's kind of alarming that these things are being prescribed and handed out like candy at this rate for weight loss. It's like, oh my God, think like, in like a few years from now, we're gonna start finding out some horrific shit from these weight loss drugs. It's a little scary how so many people are kind of blindly accepting them instead of going the normal, healthy route of maybe just pay attention to what you're putting in your body, right? I think that's just the best way to go. Pay attention to what you're putting in your body with food. You know? Can I take fiber pills to lose weight? No. It's just gonna make you shit. It's gonna make you shit more, and it's gonna make you lose water. So you're gonna have to drink more water. It's gonna make your body retain water. So no, you don't take fiber pills to lose weight. You're just gonna lose the weight that you shit out. Not a good idea. I have an egg and corn arepa with some cheese for breakfast, bean soup and meat for lunch, and a scrambled egg and some breads. That's pretty good. All fresh, healthy food. Being a skinny person genetically feels like jealousy farming sometimes. As a formerly fat person, as someone that used to be very obese and hated how I looked, once I got skinny, like, it takes, like, some people don't have the cravings for food, right? Like, there's genetics, there's the craving for foods that some people don't have, right? But, like, it does take a lot of work to get thin and to maintain being thin. Like, there's a certain level of intention that a lot of people have to maintain in order to be that thin. So, I don't think it's jealousy farming. Ultimately, like, if people are jealous of your body type, then that should be motivation for them to improve their own, right? And of course in the healthy way, like, don't look at fitness influencers, don't look at Instagram models and think you can achieve that physique because it's not real. These guys are on the sauce, or they have plastic surgery, it's not real. But like a normal healthy person you see in public, you go, damn, they look good, I can do that too. Yeah, you probably can. But don't look at some roided up jack dude on Instagram, you know, like, who weighs 250 pounds at 5'9", as like, that's the pinnacle of health right now. He's fucking taking steroids. You know, it's not realistic. Like, don't look at a Hollywood man's body and think that's real, because it's not. They're all on the fucking sauce. All of them are. Would I take steroids? Fuck no. I don't want to enlarge my heart muscle and die. Like, every time you take steroids, you take years off your life. Fuck no. I'm perfectly content with a normal body shape. I have no desire to look like a gorilla. I'm perfectly okay being tall and somewhat lanky. I'm perfectly happy with that. I'm trying to get a little more muscle, but I don't want to be, you know, the Hulk. But what if I want to look like a roided up jackass? Well, you assume the risks. You assume the risks. So. Every strip of bacon takes 9 minutes off your life. I don't think that's true at all. I think that's an over-exaggeration. So. Am I vaccinated? Unfortunately, but thankfully it was only the Johnson & Johnson, which was the traditional vaccine, and it wasn't the Pfizer or Moderna. And like, there's now reports coming out like, oh yeah, there's a horrific side effect where you just get blood clots at random. Awesome. Great. Maybe test your shit before you make it mandatory for people to take if they want to keep their fucking job or go to a grocery store. Ah, wonderful. Loved that. We just kind of forgot that happened, right? We just kind of forgot that happened. Like people were losing their jobs because they didn't want to get a fucking vaccine that ended up not working. It's like, people got the vaccine and still got sick. Ah! I'm just stating facts. I'm not even getting political. I'm just stating a fact. Like, if you got the COVID vaccine, you probably still got COVID. A lot of people did. I got the vaccine. I got COVID twice. Like, it didn't stop it. I felt like hammered shit. It sucked. Like, just like not getting political, but let's just poll the chat. How many of you got a COVID shot, but also got COVID afterwards? Oh, and like, anyway. And then like you had all these crazy ass clips of people like the disease stops with you if you get vaccinated. Like you cannot get sick with the vaccine. And then they had to keep walking it back and walking it back and walking it back and you need a third shot, you need a fourth shot, you're still gonna get sick. Ah, fuck you. It's like a flu shot. God damn it. Whatever. So stupid. Anyways, probably enough armchair health advice from someone that is by no means qualified to talk about these things. So, that's probably enough. That's probably enough for today. Alright, I'm gonna get the VOD uploaded, hopefully, by tomorrow. And then I have a commentary coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be on the second channel, and then main channel videos will keep going, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you guys for all the donations. You guys are awesome. And the next stream I do is going to be a workshop stream, probably later next week, Thursday or Friday. I'll announce in the Discord as to what time and date it's going to be on. Join the Discord, linked in the description below if you want notifications for when I go live or when I have uploads or what have you. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.